I'm like, y'all could treat me a lot better for this. I deserve a lot more for this.
Wow, this is some bullshit right here. Now that you kicked me out of the nest and I'm flying through the sky and trying to flap my wings here, I don't think you're giving me enough.
I don't like this
You
at
didn't
all.
set me up right.
Polite
It's
about
just
it.
not the polite way to have sex.
That's just there's really one way to have sex that's polite, and it's to say, ma'am, or sir, or non-binary person, would you like to enjoy some making love with me? And then if they answer yes, then you mount that person and you move back and forth politely, and then you kind of finish it up and you say, that was great, and then you never mention it again. That's the right way to have sex, okay?
And folks, and that's why we don't do any sort of sex advice or sex stuff on this show, because there's none to be given.
I am wise!
I want you to write the polite sex book, like the proper polite method.
I just said it.
You probably hear people constantly talking about this horrible thing called capitalism.
I have.
Yeah, you've heard that?
Yes.
You're like, what? How does capitalism affect me? I will tell you, it runs your entire fucking life. You've probably heard of socialism or communism. Communism. And they say they try to control your entire life. Your whole day is taken away from you. What control do you have over your day now?
Most people have to be chained to a desk for 40 hours a week, and they're not allowed to leave.
When you wake up in the morning and you feel like shit and you have to wipe the sleep from your eyes and look around and be like, why does this have to happen this early in the morning? That's a capitalism.
And it controls everything, like your healthcare, your education. It all comes down to making money, but some things just don't make money. Honestly, ask yourself, how afraid are you of getting an injury and how that could possibly fuck up your life?
Yeah. You're being stopped from skateboarding, breakdancing, doing anything fun, because if you get injured, you're fucked forever. You can't go to work.
And so then you have all these people that say, well, we can make a kinder capitalism, a more conscious capitalism. It isn't gonna fucking happen. We need anarchy, we need socialism, we need communism, we need anything but more capitalism.
But wait, Brett. When you go to the grocery store, you have almost unlimited choice. You can buy 100 different types of cereals.
All made from the same stuff with different graphics on the outside.
All corn. It's basically just a bunch of boxes of corn.
That's capitalism.
It actually treats about 1% of the population like humans, and the rest of us like tools for those superhumans. You don't have any money, your bank account's low? I know where the money is. Jeff Bezos has it, the Waltons have it.
And they took it from us, right?
They took it from us.
We're just getting our money back.
Yeah, your work made that money. You deserve that money. That's your money. The 1% has never decided to do the right thing. That's why we have to take power and just spread it out among the 100% of people that exist. Can you imagine being that sensitive? Well,
that's
like
what
that
they're
is the
PC as hell.
ultimate.
Hey, you know what? This is the freest goddamn country, and it's so free that if you don't stand up, you aren't a free person. And goddamn it, boy, if you don't stand up right now, you ain't free. Because you have the freedom to do whatever you want. But I'm telling you, I have the freedom to make you feel bad for doing the freedom. Just get up and say you love it. Just get up right now, Copernic. God damn it. It's so free that you can't do it. You have to. It's free because there's only one way to be. That's why it's free. So be that. Damn you. They don't have anything to live. I mean, their kids hate them. They don't have, all their money got stolen by banksters and shit. Healthcare's running through the fucking roof. Oh my God, have you heard the news? Kids are dying of kratom.
That's not true.
They're injecting it into their veins.
I don't think that's happening.
An ABC Action News exclusive. A mom says a popular herb killed her son.
The most recent death happened in early June. Kratom, also known as metrogenine, was one of 4 drugs blamed for his death.
This was like the devil's drug.
It really is just a green powder that makes people feel better.
Yeah, it's a leaf. It grows from the ground, you smash it up, you make a tea out of it, you throw it down the back of your throat, you eat some capsules, and you feel better, your mind's clear. And most people that use Kratom don't have access to healthcare or prescriptions or any of that regular medicine stuff. They get it from local stores or online.
Let's do an example here. You're a young person. You don't understand how all this works. So let me explain this to you. When you get hurt in your older age, let's say you're 34, you work on a roof, you fall off and you crush your fucking heel, right? It's all shattered. The doctor 10, 15 years ago was like, that's fucked up, that really hurts. You're gonna need some opioids to kill that pain. And then the DEA says, no, you can't have those anymore. These doctors have to tighten up their prescriptions. And now you don't have any. You can't afford them. What do? You can take Kratom. It has the same effects, it's less addictive, and it's more gross. So that even brings down the use. You're not gonna use it as much. Kratom kills the pain in your body. It also cures social anxiety.
The government's solution to stuff like this is always prohibition, which means putting more people in jail.
How big is your appetite for the war on drugs? I'm sure it's small. It's shrinking every single day. Don't let them continue it. Don't let them outlaw more stuff.
Good point.
Thank you.
Before we commence expelling this ghost from this location, before we save Jake from the lock, I will light the ceremonial herb that will give us the sight, that will give us the power we need to set Jake free. My Twitter's not working out here. Let's see if you can get a ghost. Go ahead and try. I summon the ghost into ghostly ghostness. Come the fuck out if you're a real ghost. Now. Demand it.
This is how we fucking hunt ghosts. And as we've pointed out, and as we've said, there are no ghosts.
So this is where the ghost lives, from what we know. And he's not home. Let me see, let me try this. Jake, you may overtake my body. I accept you into my heart and soul. Please, if you are here, take control of me. Use me as a vessel.
Gross.
Nothing.
Yeah, no ghosts. So I guess the lesson of Beaver Creek is there's no such thing as ghosts, there's no God, and the Bible is a lie. Off to Helltown to find out what the government's up to in the middle of fucking nowhere, Ohio. Hell yeah, bumping out here. Can I get some of this safety herb in my lungs, please? And thank you, are welcome here. Jake, you can't have any because they drug test.
Yeah, if you go to work, man, you're gonna get drug tested.
Jake, you son of a bitch! You get out here! Hey, Jake! Ain't coming. He ain't coming because he's afraid of me, Brian Quinby from Street Fight Radio. Brett, would you like a shot at Jake?
Yeah.
Oh, I just fell in a hole. That was Jake. That was all Jake.
I think we found the ghost. Jake won't let you see your mention. He's like, don't look at your phone while you're at work, motherfucker.
How many times have you gone into work and then looked at your boss and said, what are they doing? You ever think about the levels at a job, Brett? Of course, the people on the very bottom. What do?
Usually clean.
Yeah, and then there is the people just above them. They're the ones that do the second hardest job at the place, right?
Deal with customers?
Yeah, that sort of thing. And then there's another level above that. And that's the manager that's in the place. Now let's think about what comes after that, right? You might have a guy named like Glenn that comes to your office every 6 months and you have to lay out the red carpet for Glenn. Think about what the person above Glenn does. Jerry is the person above Glenn, right?
Okay.
His job is basically going to lunch, right?
Yeah, powerful meetings, shaking hands real hard.
We're gonna go up to the CEO now. The people that sit around a table and who knows what they're doing? Nobody knows what they talk about.
Playing cards.
What connection does that person have to what you do and what the customer gets? It just seems like you could really chop like 5 or 6 levels off of any job and the company would still run perfectly.
Think about your job. Now imagine your manager isn't there. How much smoother would your day run?
I mean, how many of you work a job where you don't even know who the fucking CEO is of the company? That means they're absolutely useless. They're parasites.
They're on the top, getting most of the money, sending their kids to private school, driving the fanciest cars, and they can't make a sandwich. Every new level of hierarchy is more money coming out of your paycheck. Unions are fucking great because it's not HR.
You need solidarity with the other workers. We need to use that and exercise that. You and your other workers are the most important people at that company. I mean, hell, the way I think about it, maybe you don't get a union at all and you just take the whole company away from the bosses, and that's called a co-op.
For the almighty dollar, everyone's a slave. What's the point of doing?
Hey everybody, welcome to Street Fight Radio. Hope you're having a good time. It's Sunday night, time for a street fight. We are doing the call-in show tonight. That number to dial is 614-655-3887. Thank you for being here. We are the #1 anarcho-comedy radio show on any station across the nation. You can find us live streaming on YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, along with Facebook. Just check us out. We're at Street Fight WCRS on most of those platforms, except for Twitch. We're at Street Fight Radio. You can watch the shows each week. Every Wednesday and Sunday, we do a show. It comes out as a podcast. If you want more from us, we have a Patreon where you can support everything that we do. You know, some people sign up for the Patreon and they don't even get any of the rewards. They just want to kick us some money. We appreciate those folks. That's great. Some of you love all of the zines, love the Undercover Business Tyrants, the bonus shows, the mini-series, Teen Fight Radio, Shocktober, all of that, and we really appreciate that as well. So if you want more Street Fight Radio, or if you want to support Street Fight Radio, head over to patreon.com/Street Fight Radio, and that's where you can do that. My name is Brett. My co-host is Brian. We've been doing this for a long time now, and we're trying to build a lot of dissent and disruption in this world so that we can kick off a new flat earth with a different way of thinking that involves more working people. So we're taking your calls tonight. We want to hear what's going on at work, your DARE officer stories, your military recruitment stories, your street fight Christmas stories. If you found some weed in the woods, if your boss, somehow forgot to fire you, whatever it may be, we would love to hear some of those street fight Christmas miracles. We appreciate you for being here, as I've said probably 5 or 6 times now. I'm on that Christmas cheer because we just left Ruby Tuesday, not the shitty restaurant, the original performance venue in Columbus, Ohio on Summit Street that's been here way longer than that piece of shit restaurant, because we're doing a live show. We're doing a live variety show, something we've never done before. We're going to have a musical band to back us up, the Howling Commandos. We're going to have special guests Lindsey Martin, Garbage Brain University, and the Trillbillies here in Columbus, Ohio for one jam-packed variety show hosted by yours truly, Street Fight Radio. So get those tickets. They're at store.streetfightradio.com. You're not going to want to miss it. We're going to keep this rolling through the winter because, you know, we want to see Tom and Terrence and Tanya from the Trillbillies, but we would rather write it off as a business expense. It makes a lot more sense to do that. So you can help us with that. Help pay dirtbag artists and get them their next microwave pizza by coming out to the variety show and watching us all do our thing. Head over to store.streetfightradio.com to get those tickets and tell your friends.
What's up? Yeah,
that was a
come to the
lot.
damn
That felt like a
show.
lot of talking.
It wasn't as long as.
Really?
Well, no, it's 4 minutes.
Yeah, that's a
So,
lot.
yeah,
that
you
was
did 4.
extended.
Yeah, I was like looking at my phone and was like, "Is this? Am I supposed to be talking now?"
No, not at all. We don't need you yet.
That's nice. Yeah. I fucking sit in a room and then I pop in when we're done and I ruin the flow of the conversation to just like really slow it down a little bit.
No. I was doing a hard sell on people, so they don't want to hear that at all. I'm like the guy at the state fair that's trying to get you to sign up for a new car washing.
That's
sponge.
actually what I want you to do this year. I have this idea for a bit, and everybody's going to want us to do this now, is for me and you to both go get Cutco jobs and then go to like a festival, and I'll set my Cutco on one side of the fucking festival and you set yours on the other side, and we see who sells the most Cutco knives.
That would be interesting. We'd have to get a video team to follow us around, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine you trying to sell that to somebody.
I know. That's why I think it would be funny. People hearing me try to sell, because I was never good at it. I remember when I worked at the cable company, they would have these like contests to get people signed up for like Stars and Showtime and HBO. Well, it was never HBO because people would tend to get HBO, but like Stars and Showtime and TMC, they got to work a little hard, you know, to get some. Cinemax too. Cinemax is another one. They just got to work. They're not auto signups, you know. HBO's the only automatic sign up.
Right.
So they would be like, yeah, go in there and sell, or try to get extra outlets. But I was like, well, if I get them to get an extra outlet, I would have to run the outlet, which then
that's not a bonus.
A bonus? Yeah, that's not worth any money to me at all. It's actually more work, you know. But yeah, I think we should do a selling competition at some point and see. I mean, I don't know if I'd even sell one Cutco knife, really. I'd be like, I got these knives over here. You want to buy one? Like, I don't know what you would do. Do you go up there and cut a fucking pop can in half?
Tomatoes. That's always impresses people.
Why tomatoes?
Oh,
because of the skin.
They're so hard to cut.
You got a sharp knife, you can cut right through them.
Yep.
You know, so many people have dull-ass knives in their kitchen. I'm like the most dull knife guy ever. I've never sharpened a knife in my life. And I have all the same knives I've had since I moved into my apartment. So, like, I just have the most unsharp knives in the whole world, and everything is a chore to cut. But I think I'm going to go buy one of those things and try to learn how to sharpen a knife.
The rod?
The rod, yeah, and you just do the thing.
You look like a chef?
Yeah. Well, I am like sort of, I want to be like a chef, but I'm bad at cutting everything, you know? Like onions, I always try to cut them in squares. The little squares that people cut them into.
Dicing?
Yeah, dicing them into squares, and I never get it right, ever. I actually get bored halfway through and just start making bigger cuts.
Going, ha, ha, ha.
Yeah.
Just start like banging the knife on the board.
Yeah, I don't have like a technique to cutting. You know, like it's one of those things where it's like, I thought I thought I knew how to cut stuff, Like where you put the thing on the end and you just go like that. You just like kind of, you put the end on the board and then you pull down and cut. But I can't do that. I just don't know how to do it.
So like if I asked you for a dice or a chunk, you don't think you can make that distinction?
No,
on the
you
onion?
probably get a lot of chunks. Really.
Just chunk? You can't dice?
Maybe some dices. But I've thought about buying one of those things you just stick the fucking things in and pull down.
Slap chop?
Kind of like a slap chop, yeah.
What is
Sort
it?
of like a slap chop. Like the things for apples. You ever use the apple slice gimmick?
Yeah, I love those.
Yeah, I think they probably make those for like also dicing, right? So you could just set it on top and push it down and it's all
It's
diced
like a slap chop
in one
thing.
shot. Yeah. I don't want to slap chop. I am like learning a lot about myself this year because I'm like, I really want to get everybody like the best possible presents this year. I really want to be a guy that gives good presents. And I want people to know that I thought about them and I worked very hard to make sure that I got things that I think they would enjoy. And I would go, we were at Target one night, and the whole time I was there, I was like, there's just not like a single thing in here I would want to give somebody as a gift. Nothing.
Yeah.
You know, an adult. I mean, kids like toys, so it's fine to like buy kids toys.
Yeah, there's nowhere else to go for toys.
Yeah, there's no like, and, you know, people are going to be like, oh, well, you could go to like Johnny Local's toy emporium, but the fact is, like,
they don't sell Barbie because they think it's bad.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Barbies.
I know, and that's sad too because you're like, I wish my kid didn't want Barbies, but I'm gonna tell you something right now. You're gonna wish your kid did a lot of things.
That's true.
That's
it. That's the T-shirt. You're gonna wish your kid did a lot of things.
Yeah, because I think like people before they have kids are like, my kid's probably going to be into like really cool stuff. And then
sorry, go ahead.
Also, like people who have kids and the kids are like 6 or 7 and they're like dancing to their heavy metal songs are like, my kid's going to be actually cool. But like my daughter listened to all the same music I listened to until she got to a certain age where she said everything I listened to sucks.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I was just thinking, we just left our friend's Christmas cookie party. And it made me, I was thinking about it because like when we started, when we didn't have kids, we had all day. It was like, what are you supposed to do with a fucking Saturday? Like it's so much time. So we would all get together and like make meals and make cookies and make we would spend a whole day doing this. But once you have kids, you're like, they take up all of my time.
Yeah.
And they're demanding about everything. And they don't like artisanal shit. They don't like anything that has care or concern behind it. They want McDonald's.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't want McDonald's, but that's like their favoriteest thing in the world.
Yeah, all kids want whatever their thing. Chipotle is the one I think a lot of the kids like now. It's all Chipotle.
Your kid, maybe.
No, she doesn't eat it anymore.
Oh,
because
really?
we don't eat it anymore. I mean, I guess she probably goes when she's out with her friends, but even my brother's kid loves Chipotle too and only eats it.
It's like, it's all Chipotle. It's all fast food, like gross shit that like I wasn't eating on a regular basis, but now that I have to drag somebody around to like gymnastics and to swim class and back and forth from school, it's like, I'm going to go back to the fucking Happy Meal, I guess.
Yeah.
I can see my parents bought me a whole bunch of Happy Meals. Like, I'm not mad about it anymore, you know?
Yeah, and it's always like, I liked when I got the Happy Meals.
Yeah.
Like, some of my thing is like, I just want to give her the things that made me feel good more often than my parents gave me the things that made me feel good. Whether it's like attention or it's like just being interested in what she's up to or what she's doing, you know, or getting her whatever the food is she's into at the current moment. Right now, it's she's problematic Chick-fil-A, and
she's accepted their new.
Well, because they said that they're not doing the donations anymore, right. She's 100% all in with Chipotle now.
Yeah, bad move.
Yeah, or Chick-fil-A, and the other thing she likes is BB Bop.
Yeah, which is a local.
No, it's not local. It's everywhere.
It's not?
BB Bop is everywhere. I've seen them on tour.
Really?
In different
no way.
cities. Yeah, Piata's local.
Yes, Piata, I do know that one.
Which she likes. But yeah, it's just BB Bop and Chipotle. or BB Bop and Chick-fil-A, and the Wendy's spicy chicken sandwich, and
You're right. Ohio, D.C., Maryland, Illinois, Missouri. I had no idea. I thought they were just here.
no, they're pretty good, man. I mean, instead of lettuce, they use kale, and it really doesn't work as well as lettuce.
You're anti-bowl, though, right?
I eat bowls there, though. I
You
just
eat
get a bowl
bowls?
there. Yeah, because I don't give a shit
Begrudgingly?
about the food. They're like, the food's not that good, and
Just
I'm
health
just like,
food.
I'll just get a bowl so I can just sit there and just eat it out of the bowl.
Yeah, I love health food with hot sauce on it.
I do too. I eat it now. I
wanna-
don't have to go get a cheeseburger when my family orders Bibi Bop because I've just given up. I've basically given up on like going out to dinner and picking what I want to eat, and because it's like always so much like I want this, and they're like, well, we don't want that, and I'm like, okay, what do you guys want? And as soon as they just say a thing, I'm like, I'll have it. I ate Chinese recently.
Wow. Yeah, yeah.
I eat Bibi Bop now, and
You're
I just
like
didn't-
a Renaissance man.
No, I'm just like being a guy that's like agreeable because I hate trying to figure out a place to eat, you know?
Yeah, and yeah, it's not so bad.
My wife always has like these odd things about when she eats. She was like, I'd like it to be a little more healthier today. And I was like, none of that stuff that's out there is healthy. Like, you just got to deal with the fact that tonight the dinner's going to be deep fried or something because that's what the food is. You
Yeah,
know?
when someone makes the food for you, they want to make it good. They don't want to make it healthy.
Yeah. We cooked 5 days last week.
Wow.
I was like feeling like a fucking monster.
goodness.
I was feeling so good. I mean, my daughter hated it. She was like, "Are we cooking again?" And I'd be like, "Yeah." And she's
Yeah,
like,
every
"Ugh."
night. I mean, that's what you do.
Yeah. I complained about this a couple weeks though. I would just love to have a couple of different meals.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like, I've been making Mexican for a long time now, and it's probably not in agreement with anybody that lives, south of the United States. But, like, I have my own flavor that I do, and so it is hard to get excited for. When my wife is like, let's do tacos, I'm like, I already know what that tastes like. I already know what that's going to be. I already know what I'm signing up for. It's like, it's just the same. It's just bland,
That's why I think chefs deserve what they have. Like, money-wise, how they make they make good money. A lot of them, some of them don't, but like the actual chef usually makes pretty good money. And I can't imagine first of all, putting together a menu of probably like 7 or 8 meals, then also like being like, we have to have a special today, and then also being like, we got to change the menu in 6 months. And it's just like, I just only seem to know like 6 foods.
Yeah. And it's, I mean, that's, I don't know that it's, but it's a matter of like, I don't know. I think sometimes it's like gratitude, like it's fine. I should just be happy. But, I'm not good at making pasta sauce. I use Carfagna's pasta sauce, the famous Central Ohio family that makes pasta sauce. So whether I put that on tortellini, ravioli, lasagna, whatever it is, it all tastes like that. Once again, I love that flavor.
Yeah.
But it's just hard, like you said, cooking all the time just becomes a matter of like, no, this is calories. This is this will keep me full.
Yeah, that's what sucks. And when they talk about how people go out to eat so much, it's like, I don't know about you or anybody else, but I know that in my family we cooked 6 days a week, and then we got fast food 1 day a week, whether it's pizza or like McDonald's or something. And those 6 days where we cooked were miserable to me. I just hated it so much.
It is a challenge. Like, there's not enough time to do it, and it feels like a chore, and you just feel forced into like, you just want to make it easy. It's like you had dreams of making it fun at one point, but you just want to have your pasta and make sure that you get some like broccoli or asparagus in there with it.
Yeah, we're having bean burritos tonight. The same bean burritos we have every single
we've
time.
had them for probably 15 years now. Now that I think about it, the original bean burrito recipe was created 15 years ago.
Well, it was like when Katie went vegetarian, it did change.
Yeah, that'll do
some of it, but it also like tightened up the thing. Back when we were doing meat, I would go buy a bunch of different kinds of meat, and we would make different things with it. But like now, it's just like, I don't know, dude.
Well, there's more vegetables than there are meat.
Yeah,
that you can cook with.
I know, but I don't know how to use a lot of them correctly. Utilize a lot of vegetables. Yeah, I know.
Sorry,
It's
I switched from bitching to explaining.
It's a trial by fire thing, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna fuck it up a lot. I mean, people do need to like not expect their first vegetarian dish to be like amazing. I mean, it's probably gonna be shitty. But also, was your first hamburger was shitty too, right? Your first pork fucking rice was shitty. Whatever you made.
Yeah, and the other thing that I do is like, I do need to like kind of. I mean, we're doing a lot of like those Boca chicken things too, a lot, and it's just like, so now it's like my family's eating chicken nuggets and I'm eating a chicken breast again, which was like actually one of the things I hated when I cooked meat was like that I was eating chicken breast. Like I would eat meat every day and I would eat chicken breast 4 of those days and be like, I hate this shit.
I've relieved a lot of the pressure because I did let it build, because there is pressure to like every night you're supposed to have some sort of elaborate like original dish or something. But now when me and Eric are both like, we don't want to cook, it's like, well, let's just make like Velveeta shells and cheese and roast vegetables. I'm like, fine. That's like, we don't need to feel bad about that. It's food. It's not bad. It's still a great taste. They have new flavors out that I can try. Like I'm not beating myself up. Sometimes I do peanut butter and jelly for dinner, and like it's not a fucking problem.
That's what I'm thinking about now.
But you do stress yourself out. We do like build a lot of rules and ideas. Food is something you have to do every day, and it really there's a lot of like I don't know, issues that are derived from that.
Which food for which, like the even just like the separation of meals where it's like, you know, I'll eat. I mean, you are allowed to eat like dinner in the morning or lunch or something. I think it's.
I had pho for breakfast, and when we were on tour, I loved it.
I think the thing that's like rough for me is like, it does feel like dinner is supposed to be like the special part of every single day in my mind for some reason, where we all sit together and we eat dinner and we talk about our day and shit, and we do that every night. You know, no matter what we eat, we all sit at the table and just bullshit. And it's like, so then I put pressure on like making sure those dinners are something that anybody that we could eat. And it's like, they end up being all the same. It's just like all the same. And when you have a teenager and she's like helping drive the bus, it's like, you know, I didn't think about this a lot, but you know, she likes a lot of the same shit all the time, like, because kids just like the same. I'm not even just talking about like food, movies. They watch the same movies, they watch the same TV shows, they read the same books.
They're not burnt out on stuff.
Yeah. But they can't burn out. Now I'm like just to the point where kids can't burn out. Their brain is just fine with it. They just like to be comfortable and sit down. We burn out because we see so much stuff. And then we're like, I hate everything now, you know?
Yeah.
You become a lot less cynical about these things. I took the kid to see Knives Out this week. And we really enjoyed it. All of us had like a really good time watching that movie. Good mystery movie. I haven't seen one of those in a long time, but she didn't even know if she wanted to see it. We had 2 teenagers with us, and we were like, we're going to see this Knives Out. It's a murder mystery. And for some reason, kids don't know what murder mysteries are now. They no idea.
Well, they don't know what pictures are anymore.
Right.
I don't know think about they just watch TikToks.
Yeah, so I was like, it's a murder mystery, and they're like, so it's like a horror movie? And I'm like, no, somebody gets murdered, and they have to figure out who did it. And they were like, so it's more like Us? And I'm like, it's nothing like Us.
No, they know who murdered. You saw those people murder them, like live on screen.
Yeah, we're trying to solve a mystery in this movie. And they were like, yeah, we'll go, whatever, you know. And then when we left, they were like, oh, I really like that. I like to see more stuff like that. I'm like, oh, they don't make that anymore. So there's only going to be one of those in your life.
Right. Man. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess I'm going to ask your niece if she knows what a whodunit is on Christmas.
She might
like
know
a good whodunit?
I don't think they know. I mean, my daughter read a couple Agatha Christie novels in middle school.
Oh yeah, they make everybody
kind of read that stuff because that was how they tried to get me hooked on reading. And you know what actually ended up getting me hooked on reading? This is a very weird thing, but the thing that made me like reading was this book, and I can't. I might have it right if I say the something files of Miss Franzel E. Banksweiler or something. I have to look it up. The Mixed Up Files of Basil E. Frankweiler or something. I think this is the book. And what it was these 2 kids ran away from home, or their parents died and they had to go somewhere, so they moved into a museum. and they just lived in the museum, and
That's
it was
cool.
about them like finding a place to sleep, hiding out until the security guards left, and then what they did at night when they were playing around and stuff. And I was just like, I remember being a kid and being like, oh, I mean, that was like as much of a fantasy world for me as like even like dragons and shit, because it was just like, you mean they moved away from, they didn't have to be with their parents. That's what I thought about My Side of the Mountain too. It was like, I read that book, and this kid like runs away from his parents, and he goes and lives out in the wilderness for like a long time. I don't know how long. And I was just like, oh man, he's not around his parents. This is great. This has to be great, you know? Let's do it.
Yeah, I don't know if there was any. I'm trying to think. I was into Goosebumps a lot. I like scary books a lot. But the stuff that grabbed, Frankenstein was, I think, the longest book I read, like off the rip, that I think grabbed me the most.
You know what grabbed me also, big time, was like getting the book compilations of Sunday comic strip.
Yeah,
things.
for sure.
Like getting Garfield and Calvin and Hobbes and Foxtrot and just reading it in one day, and you're like, I read that book in one day, even though it's like almost no
not
words.
really reading, yeah.
But you would like read it, and some of them would be funny when I was a kid. I don't think any kid could read those now and enjoy them. I just think their sense of humor is so fucked.
I mean, comedy doesn't age well. We know that.
Yeah. I read a lot of Family Circus too, which it became a shock to me when I got older how much people hated Family Circus.
Really?
Because the only comics I really hated in the Sunday newspaper when I was a kid, the only comics I hated were the serious adult ones.
The Phantom?
Apartment 3G.
Yeah.
You remember like there was like a
there was a medieval one too that I fucking hated, because I was like, what are they doing? It would just be 3 panels of them like riding down a road next to a stream.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is that?
Like, why are we like this seems like the worst way to read a story within 3-panel.
But there was, there was probably plenty of adults that tuned in to see what happened on the Battle of the Bridge over the river and by 2 ancient knights.
I don't know though.
Or the Phantom.
I've actually heard a lot of
the Phantom.
There was Sally Worth or something like that.
Yeah, that's Sally Worth.
She was like a detective, you know, and like I remember like listening to it's weird because it's from Opie and Anthony, but it has nothing to do with their show or anything. But his brother's a cartoonist. One of their brothers is a cartoonist, and like he's fairly successful at like getting in newspapers around their city and stuff like that. And like he's I guess pretty good, but he started looking into like what it takes to get to be able to be in the newspaper funny section, and they were like, it's just you can't get in there because the ones that are there are the ones that are there, and they ain't fucking going anywhere. Nobody's giving up a spot, and they ain't gonna add to the section.
There's shelf space.
Yeah,
and it's all taken.
Yeah.
All right,
and it's like just people that have been doing comics for 75 years is the thing. It's like
the old
how long
reliables.
does fucking Ziggy need to go on?
Yeah, I mean, but it should be there for people like us. As, kids aren't gonna remember. They're not gonna go. Like, I'd love to pick up a paper and read some Sherman's Lagoon. Like,
Would you really?
Oh God, that shit was
like. I bet you they got rid of the funny pages in the Dispatch now because it's just a little foldy paper. It's just a little. It's like square.
Yeah, I mean, it's all online. I mean, you can absolutely just. I mean, I don't know. You can just
find out what Sherman and the boys are up to.
There's one a day. I mean, you can just go to webcomics and update once a day.
That's just weird. It's just so funny to me to think like there can't be anybody reading those.
Beetle Bailey.
Yeah. There can't be anybody reading Snuffy Smith, which was my favorite comic as a kid.
What was the there was a good comic too. What was the Viking one? That dude was funny.
Oh, Hagar the Horrible.
Hagar the Horrible. Yeah, that dude was good.
Yeah.
That motherfucker had some real problems.
Yeah, Zitz was another one that I really enjoyed.
I was Funny Pages. I did read them every single week and loved them. But
I read them every morning. Like we got the newspaper every day, and I would just
Sundays
sit at lunch, at dinner, and I would just read them all. My dad would get mad if we read anything before him, though. So that was like always an issue. You had to wait for my dad to read his thing before. Like he got Sports Illustrated in the mail, and he'd be like, "None of you are allowed to open this until I've finished reading it." And it was always just like,
I mean, there was different back then. It was different stuff. I mean, if you were. Like, think about it, though. Like, dude, if we were grown back then, we could get away with anything we wanted. Like, you were just the ruler of the kingdom. And those kids, you could just treat like shit. Like, I started watching that movie, The Florida Project. You know it?
Yeah.
It's like some indie darling movie. And I had to turn it off because in, like, the first 5 minutes, there's, like, a bunch of 6 and 7-year-olds that are spitting on a car. And then this woman comes out and just starts fucking cussing at them like crazy. And I just had to stop because it was like too much. It made me feel like, I was like, I don't want to relive this. This makes me feel like when I was younger, because I haven't seen someone like cuss at a fucking 7-year-old in a very long time. Like, not like you know, get the fuck out of here. Like, I haven't seen that. Like, our families are all so squishy and caring and kind and like different. But like then it was, nobody was recording what was going on. You couldn't like, you know, you couldn't keep, you really couldn't, I don't know, parents just got away with saying like, you know, I'm going to read this magazine first, right? There was no Twitter that you couldn't all get the Twitter. It was like, you're going to ruin this fucking Sports Illustrated.
And
you
also,
can't touch it because I say so.
I mean, for my dad, and this is a guess, I don't know if this is true, but I do think that like my parents had this weird thing where they wanted to be like, actually, we earn all the money, so we
I feel
live
that
by these rules.
I get that. Seeing these kids' Christmas lists, I feel the same way. I'm like, how about you earn $1 before you ask for $1?
Because like well, that's been something that's come up on Teen Fight a few times, and something that I would even address here is like there is something about having teenagers. And, like, I guess the human brain or maybe the way we were raised, but you do find yourself doing the thing, feeling the way that you think your parents did, where it's like, I ordered this Sports Illustrated, and I don't want any of this information to go into anybody's brain until it's gone into my brain. You know, I paid for this. This is mine.
Right. Premium.
You know?
I pay a premium for that.
Yeah, and it's like and again, it's like when I would walk by, when about 2 years ago, when I would walk by Gwen's room and she'd just be laying in bed on like an 80-degree day, beautiful day outside. You know, you could be out riding your bike, you'd be doing anything. I'd walk by and she was laying in her bed looking at her phone, and it would just fucking, something in my brain would be like, tell her to go do something.
Yeah.
And it's like, I've been able to stop doing that. Like, I caught myself doing it, but it reminds me of all the times that like I would be out late or out with my friends and doing something, and I would come home and I would just sleep until like the time I sleep now.
Yeah.
And my parents would be at the door at 11 like, you are not sleeping, like just annoyed that I was going to sleep late.
Right.
You know? And it's like, why are you annoyed? I'm not in your hair. I'm in my room quietly.
Yeah. Go do some woodworking.
Yeah, you can do fucking anything you want. They'd be like, you're not sleeping all day. And like, I had a lot of friends like that too. Like, my parents would be like, tell us to go outside.
See, yeah.
And it was like, what do we do out there? I don't fucking care. Just go out there.
That's the aspect, though, too. If you choose to micromanage your kid's life, you're going to be fucking angry all the time. Like, if you choose to, like, expect them to make the right decisions, you're just going to be pissed every fucking 60 seconds of your life.
Yeah.
Like, you just have to accept what they're doing. You can try to create something else, but, like, screaming them out of it or trying to force them into how you think things should be is a losing battle.
Yeah, I agree.
And all right, let's see who's on the line.
Yeah, let's take some fucking calls.
Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight? Howdy.
Oh, hello?
Hey, this is you. This is you.
I did not expect to be the first person on. I need to pause my Mario Kart. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. We're strong believers in letting people pause their Mario Kart. I mean,
the Switch game or the telephone game?
Yeah, how you playing it?
Yeah. I'm on the Switch. I haven't done the telephone yet.
Dude, smartphone, I've been getting in trouble because like you can do smartphone Mario Kart and the races are probably 90 seconds at the most. And so you're like, I'm in the middle of like Hobby Lobby and my wife is like, come look at these picture frames, and I'm like screaming and yelling because like someone just threw an ink on me, right? And I've got like one booster and I'm just like, I'm on Rainbow Road and I'm just like, shh, 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 shh. 1 minute. Like, I'm just, let me get this in.
So who's this?
This is David Leon Hansen from Utah. I'm the guy who ate the hot dogs in that video.
Oh, a hero!
Hot dog man.
And when a hero comes along with the strength to carry on. Hey, can I ask you something? And this is something I haven't consulted Brett with. If me and Brett sent you a celebration roast, would you eat it raw on camera? The whole thing?
Dead end. Yeah, like I already got some ideas planned for the video.
Okay.
If it happens.
Okay.
Hey,
Interesting.
get this written down, Brett. We got to send him a celebration roast. I would love to see a video of him eating a whole celebration roast without cooking it.
Yeah, I just want to see like your fist grab the whole thing and take a bite out of it like it's a beef jerky.
For those that don't know, he did the foulest thing I think I've ever heard of. He bought vegetarian hot dogs, which first of all, gross. And then he ate a whole pack cold for us.
Yeah, the
video.
light life dogs. Now you did the boss thing, which you didn't bother like taking out one individual dog and taking a bite of it. You just took the full block of 8 and just bit it like a sandwich.
And I'll just say this. That is actually what made the video, because it seemed like something such a fucking maniac would do. Actually, because it was like you could have ate them one by one. And yeah, people would be impressed that you ate the whole pack. But I think people were shocked and horrified when they saw you take a bite out of 6 of them at a time.
Well, like if you do the math, like some of those bites are like 1 hot dog per bite.
Yeah,
really.
It sounds right.
And you washed it down with a cool, refreshing Mountain Dew, too,
Yeah.
which I absolutely respect.
Where are you based out of?
Utah.
Okay, so when we if we went to Salt Lake City and did a live show sometime this year, we could get you to come on stage and you would eat something raw.
Yeah.
He's accepting bookings, folks.
I love this. I mean, I see that hot dog video. I was so horrified by it. It was like I didn't make it all the way through because I was horrified by the first bite made me feel like ill because those hot dogs are gross.
I love them too. I'm actually on his side because my wife won't eat them, and there's a place literally at the end of our street that sells them, and I have to sneak away. Like, I'm always advocating to get those fucking things. And, you know, a lot of people say, oh, the veggie hot dogs taste horrible, but I think all hot dogs taste horrible, and that's a part of it. So I feel like they belong alongside the regular hot dog, and that people, you know, talk shit on them, but for me, they're absolutely fine. I wouldn't mind eating a couple cold ones right now.
So I have a question. How old are you?
I am 24 years old.
Did it fuck your guts up? You're still young, so maybe it didn't.
It's nourishment.
It didn't fuck your guts up?
That's
be 24.
lean. That's lean plant protein.
Oh, to be 24 again. Because if I ate any bag pack, a whole pack of any kind of hot dog, I would actually feel it would fuck my guts up for sure. The Impossible Whopper fucks my guts up. I think it fucks everybody's guts up, and nobody wants to admit it because it kind of tastes the same, and it sits in your stomach like a fucking log.
You
right?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I always get like something fermented on top of them, like sauerkraut or a kimchi or something. So that helps along the process for me. That's my hot dog get down. I mean, I do like them preferably covered in a lot of crazy toppings, but at the end of the day, cold pack of hot dogs, nothing beats it. So,
yeah.
Salute to you.
You found your way. You found your way so totally, like, I want to tell you I've thought about you a lot this week. Like, it's just like this dude ate these hot dogs because we mentioned it, and it's incredible because it sounds vile.
A Christmas miracle. It's absolutely incredible what you did, sir, to take a bite out of those hot dogs.
Would you eat another raw hot? Would if you went and bought hot dogs now? Would you come in if you got real hungry and just eat one of them? Like just roll it.
That's right. That's actually how I eat them most often those white life dogs.
Yeah.
Like I get other veggie dogs, and that are like way better. Like field roast is like way better, and like I'll take the time to cook those. But like those white life dogs, like they scratch a certain itch.
Yeah.
And like if I may, like going back to like people talking about them being gross, I used to work in a meat department, and yeah, it was while I was vegan, but like I would make like around 100 pounds of sausage a day, and so I don't want to hear shit from meat eaters about our hot dogs being gross. Just going to put that out there because I've made y'all's sausage, and it's not pretty.
Yeah, they're gross too.
Well, it's not good looking, but it doesn't taste bad. That's the thing about our sausage, the meat people's sausage. It tastes super good. And it has
Well, wait, you
the
can't compare hot
consistency
dog.
we're used to.
You can't compare hot dog to sausage.
That's true. That's true. But meat hot dogs can be good. Like there are, like those Vienna boys that they serve at Dirty Frank's are actually good hot dogs. I enjoy those. But like the plant-based ones always have like another taste that makes it off. You know? That's what I don't like about it.
You know, the Pongzai Fat Boy, Hey Babe Pongzai, the Twitter guy that does all the beer tricks.
Yeah, I'm friends with him on Facebook.
Yeah, what if you could do that with like hot dogs? Like if you could take a whole hot dog and just like swallow it whole without taking a bite or something, and just do like a whole pack of those things, that'd be pretty fucking impressive.
Just do a hot dog, eat one hot dog. Or no, you like hang them up and you just if you ate them all at one time. And the other thing,
swallow them whole. I want to see someone swallow a hot dog whole.
I don't think you can do that because then it just maybe it would just come out like a turd.
There's stomach acid.
Yeah. Well,
you're over here thinking about pooping hot dogs.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for calling in, Hot Dog Man. We appreciate it.
We love you.
I'm sorry.
And we'll try to get you a field roast. Message one of the social media accounts for Street Fight, and we'll get you a field roast.
Absolutely.
Cool. Sounds good. Thanks for having me on.
Oh,
yeah, thank
you
you for calling. We appreciate it.
Have a nice one.
I gotta do this out loud. Can you get me the password for this Wi-Fi, or write it down somewhere? I need Wi-Fi password. But if Brett doesn't, you can message it to me.
Sure.
If you have it. Okay.
Yeah, I love Wi-Fi passwords.
What's Brett drinking?
Oh,
what's
I wanted to say that Wi-Fi password is the name of my new DJ project that's coming out.
Okay, send it to me. Oh, I can get it on my phone. But yeah,
tonight we have in my stomach Shiner Holiday Cheer. It's from the deep in the heart of Texas. It's brewed with peaches and pecans. It's got that southern flavor. I'm a big Shiner fan because I lived in Texas, and I love Ruby Redbird. I love the regular old, and the Cheer is one of my favorite things this time of year. So that's not an ad.
Nice.
I would do advertisements for Shiner. I do love that fucking beer.
Shiner beer is that's a pretty big company though.
Yeah, I mean in Texas they are. Yeah, they're big.
You know. So yeah, man, that raw hot dog video was incredible.
Yeah.
I was a big fan of it. Chasing it with Mountain Dew is also like so funny. It was that is a person who gets the Street Fight aesthetic more than anybody, right? Like that is just that was a top-notch video, and it was something that me and Brett both loved.
Yeah,
so,
it was perfect.
That was fun. That was good. Anybody else wants to eat something weird, I will definitely take a look at it.
Yeah.
I mean, don't do it just for me.
Don't do an egg salad sandwich. That'll make him puke.
Don't. You know what would be the grossest thing in the world? Now people are going to do it. If I say this out loud, people are going to do it. And I don't want to see it. But if somebody ate egg salad, and they just got on camera and they started to eat egg salad and they chewed it for a minute and they just went like that. That might make me actually throw up.
Did a little bit of seafood.
Do the seafood, I eat it sort of thing. That would probably make me actually throw up.
Egg salad. All right, well, I know what you're getting for Christmas.
Chewed
Let's see
up
what's
egg
on the
salad.
next. Oh, just a box full of chewed up egg salad. I'm going to stay up all night long eating, making dozens of eggs and chewing them up and spitting them back into a box.
I mean, if you want to, like...
I did it. One time I filled a box full of cranes and sent it to my wife, so it's very similar.
One day, if you ever want to, like, get actual candid video of me fucking gnarling out, that is the thing. Or, like, because I remember when we were younger, Jason would, like, show me his food sometime to gross me out. We was, like, really, like, grossing each other out as kids. And he would eat deviled eggs. And go, a seafood, and I would be like, this is fucking idiot. That's the worst.
Yeah.
It would make me so nervous.
Yeah, that's rude. I mean, I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, there's a lot of things... You know, when you're a kid, you also think that when you grow up, you're going to have to deal with, like, quicksand a lot, you know? But you think there's going to be tornadoes and there's going to be monsoons. You learn about all this stuff, and you're like, well, I'm going to have to live through an earthquake someday, and then you don't actually understand that you live in Ohio, and that's never going to happen.
Yeah, that's true.
Unless
that's
it's
true.
a fracking one.
That's
all right,
true.
let's
we
see.
Do have oh, God, Brett, you gave me the wrong key.
Fracking earthquakes? I
Give me
did
the
not.
wrong Wi-Fi key.
The password.
Yeah.
That's all I got for my password.
Oh no! Well, then
there's a space at the end of it. Maybe you got.
Is there a space at the end
delete the
of it?
space. I copy and pasted a space, folks. This is subliminal advertising to let you know that we're just like you and we don't know how to use computers. Let's see who's on the phone next. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Hey guys.
Howdy doody.
This is Justin Lafayette. I'm a congressional candidate for Texas 20th District.
Oh, shit!
A frequent watcher of your show.
Oh, really? You watch the stream?
Don't let them know that. You will not get into any
that's
sort of government shit, dude.
That's not the way to get elected. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Not if you're going for the working class vote.
Okay, maybe there are some service workers and whatnot that are you WoW or Spectrum, Brett?
I'm WoW.
Oh, okay. Sorry, but yeah, I mean, if you want to connect with our fans, we like that. But like, I'm going to tell you right now, if they ever play this interview, they're also going to put it with something horrible, like with chance of kill Jeff Bezos.
I'm talking about burning the flag.
Well, I mean, that's not that bad. I mean, I've talked about doing that all the time.
Okay,
right.
so you're saying
you're good to go. All right. We had to vet you.
When you're calling for like abolishing the CIA, it's like whatever, you know.
Are you doing that?
Come at me.
What? So you're going for state representative?
No, for federal Congress.
Oh, really? And where is
Yes.
this? Did you say Texas? Why did I think you said Texas?
You did.
Yes, it is Texas.
And where at?
San Antonio.
San Antonio. What are you running as a Democrat, or is the DSA behind you or anything?
Some of the people in the DSA are behind me. There's a big whole complicated story as far as getting endorsement. Basically, they said not yet. But as far as running as a Democrat, yes, I'm running as a Democrat in a heavily gerrymandered Democratic district against a unpopular milquetoast liberal whose twin brother also happens to be running for president.
Okay.
Interesting.
So yeah.
Who are you? Well, I'm sorry. Who's your opponent?
Joaquin Castro.
Oh shit! It's Castro. It's my dude. So what is his? You know, you can't get a lot of him on CNN or on the screen caps or anything. What kind of politics is he into?
Not really a whole lot of anything. That's the thing, is like he really just sits in the seat and soaks up donor money. And that's what he's been doing pretty much his entire career from what I can tell.
Okay.
Smart.
So like he and his brother have been like local politicians for the past like 15 to 20 years, since they were in the Clinton administration as like college level like interns, whatnot. And so one was a state congressman for a while, Joaquin, and his brother was mayor. And both of them are big sellouts to developers, so they aren't exactly the most popular anymore.
Yeah, is anybody not like a sellout to developers now? Like sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, of course they've been a Democrat since been involved in the Democratic Party leadership since the Clinton era, so of course they are. But yeah, which is why I'm running against them. So yeah,
that's great though. I really, to me, it's like I'd love to see people get on the ballot. So what are some of the things you're doing? What's some of your platform that you think the people locally can get behind?
Well, I mean, of course, immigration is a huge issue here in San Antonio. They've been trying to get a local church has been trying to bring in, I can't remember the exact name of the company, to house one of the child detention centers because the church is broke and the company offered them like $3 million to let them use their property to house child, refugees. And so they've been fighting that. I mean, of course, ICE is a huge issue here in San Antonio just because there's a lot of undocumented immigrants here. So, I mean, that's a huge one. Housing is a big one. San Antonio is now like the most segregated city in the U.S., and it is also now leading the country in eviction for like apartments and stuff.
Okay.
So yeah. But yeah, it being in Texas, there's all of the issues as far as workers' rights. The city, a bunch of the cities, San Antonio, Austin, Dallas, Houston, have all been trying to pass paid sick leave ordinances because, of course, fuck the state. It's controlled by, assholes like Abbott, who hate anybody who isn't rich. So they won't do anything. In fact, they're, actively fighting it whenever they can. And the local one here was supposed to go into effect December 1st, but the judge that was involved in the lawsuit from the business community against the city for it put a hold on it, so it got delayed again. It was originally supposed to go into effect in August 1st, but our business community is awful and controls everything in terms of politics because all of our city council people spend tons of time with these 14 different chamber of commerces that we have.
Yeah. So what can people do to help you out with running?
As far as help with the campaign, I'm on Twitter as JustinTX_20, and help, Signal Boost, add me. That's where I just get online and shit post at people like Pelosi about how we need to lock them all up, and Trump and Giuliani and whoever, because they all belong in jail. Fuck all of them.
Yeah, I like the lock them up chant at these events.
Oh yeah. Yes, bipartisan. All bipartisan, lock them all up. They're all criminals.
Yeah, that's a good one.
In office, everybody who's been in office at the national level for more than 8 years is probably a fucking criminal.
Yeah, and then even some of them 8 years ass motherfuckers too. They're bad.
Yeah. And hopefully someday we
Yeah,
can throw
yeah.
you in jail for
Yeah,
being
well,
a politician as
yeah.
well.
If I live long enough to become the villain.
Well, we hope to get you on your journey, on the right start.
Thank you.
So if you're in Texas,
Yeah, and also my website is justintx20.com. I have a donate thing on there. That's another big one. That's the two things right now that really, if anybody is interested in helping, is signal boosting and donating. Now that I'm officially going to be on the ballot, I've submitted all the signatures, which I spent all of November collecting. Now it's just trying to advertise and get my name out there.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah, go to the website here. It looks like we got a person. I mean, if you're listening to Street Fight and you're running for office,
you're willing
I
to throw
think
yourself in
that's-
jail.
Yeah, and you're willing to, because that's true. When me and Brett become millionaires, we know you guys are going to throw us in jail.
Yeah, we'll go to jail for it.
Yeah, we're
I
fine.
expect to go to jail for it.
Whatever.
Absolutely.
I mean, if it comes down to like if we become millionaires, we have to give y'all $500,000 to spread between yourself. We might do that even. If me and you got to keep $250.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So like if we made $1 million, we would give our fans, we would split up $500,000 to our fans. I would get $250 and Brett would get $250, and we would be very happy people.
Well, we got to make the business run though.
Yeah, we give the business nothing.
Okay.
Because I made $250,000, I don't have to work anymore.
That's true. We don't need the jobs. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't even need jobs.
Then we're not guilty. We're not even. Yeah. Okay.
You truly can make something out of 20. So late this week, there's a thing going on, and if me and Brett were the types that would do something like this, I would 100% do it. But a legendary rock venue in town, where I saw a lot of concerts when I was a kid, and where Dimebag Darrell got shot, is for sale.
Yeah.
For $1.2 million. It's 7 acres. So like we would even like in a couple years probably be able to just cash out on that motherfucker or make a shitload of money. But it's like I want to raise
Turn it into a leftist rock venue.
Yeah, well, even just a compound, basically. You could turn something like that into a fucking compound, and people could just. And get this, dude. It's like 5 minutes from downtown. It's like 5-10 minutes from downtown. So it's not even like we could
right
live
by
off the land. Yeah, it's
by
right
my
by Brett's house. It would be fucking incredible, man. And just to have that place, because what they're gonna do is they're gonna tear it down, right? And then they're going to build luxury condos. And they've already torn down every single concert hall that has meant anything in this city except for the one, right? Except for the Newport, which they try to tear down every, 5 years. They're like, we're going to put a CVS there. And, a guy does own it now. But, like... It's just, it sucks seeing those places go down because they wouldn't do that. They don't do that to like legendary boomer rock venues. You know what I mean? If there's like a place where
not
like,
true.
like, I guess they do because they close down on amphitheaters too.
mean,
They close everything down.
I mean, I don't know. I don't feel like, it's a matter of just that's the way that time works. Like things come to an end. And some things were important at one point in time, but no longer relevant. There's new spots. And that's why we are starting a Kickstarter to buy the Alrosa Villa
It would
to
be
create
something-
a new chapter in the book for the Alrosa and hard rock in our community.
We would keep the name the Alrosa Villa too, by the way. We wouldn't change that.
No, never.
We would just change the sign to be red and black and probably
put a
say
Sabo.
Street Fight Radio on it or something. And then we would totally leave the big rock for Dimebag.
Yeah,
and
but
chances
expand.
Yeah, I want. So this is my plan, and I want a reflecting pond that's shaped like a Flying V guitar.
Okay,
and I want to play Hell Yeah, which was the band he was there with at the time when he got killed. I want to play it very quietly though, so you can like sit and contemplate and hear Hell Yeah.
Hell Yeah's in the background.
Hell Yeah is just playing in the background, man.
That's great. Yeah. I mean, I think that, like, for us, it would get us a lot of credibility with, like, drywall hangers in this town and, like, you know, steel-toed boot-wearing people, where they would probably hate us for, like, our beliefs, but like, we would do such a good job respecting Dimebag Darrell that they would have to, like, give it up for us, right?
Could you imagine people having to come and tell us, like, look, okay, I don't like these goddamn politics, and I don't like this damn politically correct stuff. But I gotta respect you because you did Dimebag right.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, that's part of our infection. That's part of our propaganda campaign.
Yeah, we would get so much credit. They would like, and if we got the Alrosa. Whenever they I'm sorry, it was Damage Plan was the band. We would have to play Damage Plan really quietly.
Gotcha.
Because that was the band. But like I've had this whole idea forever. I thought they should have put a bronze statue out there.
Yeah.
Anyway, from the very beginning. They just got a big rock
Today
out
says
there.
anniversary, right?
Yeah. They just got a big rock out there that says R.I.P. Dime.
R.I.P. Dimebag.
And it's like, man, you can't do that. So I want to buy that place. So bad. That's like a dream.
It does feel like synchronicity to me.
I know that we're looking for a place.
This is the 15th anniversary of it. We need a place, and the Alrosa is available.
Yeah. Can you imagine the
What's
concerts?
the mortgage on a $1.2 million place, I wonder?
Brett, like, getting ready to bid.
All right. Well, thanks for calling.
Thanks for running for office. If you think you can help us with wrestle this shit away from the developers, we would really like appreciate that too.
I mean, if the political stuff doesn't,
100%, yeah, no.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Screw the developers. I mean, that's one of our biggest issues here in San Antonio is just like the lack of any real good like leftist spaces.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's what we want.
I know what you're feeling.
Yeah, it's just like because I know the developers are gonna buy it and call it something like Daryl Acres or something like that. Like there will be some like there will be some nod to like what used to be there, you know,
Yeah,
or there would be like Metal Street, or like the streets would be named after like hard rock bands, but not the right ones for who played there. Because like the bands that played there were like Boba Flex, and stuff, and Mushroom Head and Dope and stuff. It wasn't like fucking.
Well, you saw Korn there, right?
Jimi Hendrix way. Yeah, I saw Korn there. Korn could be on.
Limp
There could be a Korn
Bizkit.
Street. We've seen Limp Bizkit there. Yeah,
Hey, I mean, Dope is pretty good though. I mean, you know. Yeah, Hendrix is great, and you got to respect the classics. But I mean, there's some more recent bands that are all good and deserve respect.
Yeah,
we still have
reasonable
opinions.
I guess I would say this. I don't want to be a bummer or anything, but it's going to be. Probably if they name the roads after metal bands, they're probably not naming it Dope Street.
No,
Nobody wants to like name something Dope Street.
I do. Yeah, it's a good idea. Now what you say,
yeah, why not?
It's gonna be something that's like Peter Criss Cross or something like that. Something
Peter Court.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be. But
Neil
they will do
Neil Betancourt way.
Yes, they will do that though. Neil Young Boulevard, just like they're trying to do the right thing, but they're also doing like the wrong kind of music, you know. So,
yeah, well, who knows? I mean, unless we get to do it, I mean, it's not going to happen. So,
okay, look up the mortgage.
I think that like quit this congressional bullshit. We want you up here so that we can make like a Blacktooth Grin pond that people can like dip a cup into and get like a one a person, but like it'll just be a communal Blacktooth Grin like barrel that people can drink from.
Well,
right?
I'm totally down to move back up to the Midwest if I don't.
See, all these politicians can be bought, just like I've always said.
Yeah, they'll come and do that. That's like more.
Well, I'm a Michigan native, so like, I am always down to return home.
Okay, well, we appreciate it, and thank you for calling in. Justin.
Thank you.
And we support your candidacy. You know, and
unless you turn racist in the middle of the candidate,
Right.
then we won't like it.
But we know that you understand that when we dismantle your office, you'll absolutely join us. So we respect that. We have to
that's what I
respect
kind of
that.
think is if we can end like the offices, then we'll just have the people come in and
Anybody that
join us.
puts their hands up and just says, "Hey, I'm not tied to this thing," okay? Like I can be persuaded. Like I'm fine with it. You know,
it's what we've always said about like ISIS or whatever coming over and taking over. It's like I guess I'm a Chinese now, or I'm gonna join ISIS.
I'm Muslim.
I mean, whatever.
No, I don't drink at all. Just in the privacy of my own home by myself, where no one can see.
I'm North Korean. I don't. Whatever, you know,
whatever you need.
I mean,
hey. I wasn't rah patriot about any of this. I'm ready to adopt all of your customs.
I'm flexible. Okay?
I hate Christmas. Fuck it. Go shoot it out the window. All of
Well-
it. I want to do Greek Easter now.
Oh yeah, I mean, one of the first things that I want to propose is just abolish the states because they're all dumb.
All right.
All states are dumb.
That's a good start.
So yeah,
like Texas.
We'll go all in on this. Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Perfect.
just go for it. The
Gotta be a
state
Texas rebel.
is done, and we're abolishing the police and ICE, and what else other than police and ICE?
Yeah, just CIA, FBI.
Yeah, Breaking Benjamin.
You want to dissolve them too?
Dissolve them and send them
Well,
to other
thank
bands.
you, Justin. We appreciate it, and we hope that someday this is used in an attack ad against you. We wish you the best, and good luck. Peace.
Isn't
for
that
now.
funny though?
What?
Is it like to think about? Like I don't remember what I was saying.
Breaking
now.
Benjamin?
Breaking Benjamin. Like if we could go through and
If you-
take all the bands we don't like and be like, just
You have the power to break them up.
I don't want to throw you guys in jail or nothing. I just before we go to this Korn concert, I'd like to see you guys break up and like cancel your part on the tour, so we don't have to see Breaking Benjamin opening for Korn.
Oh, I thought you meant like just as part of like cultural Marxism that we like make Five Finger Death Punch stop like performing. together.
Yeah. Madison Rising has to quit and
we
tell them
put,
they can
like-
do other bands.
Yeah, no, you can reformat.
Except for the singer, because the singer is always going to do the capitalism.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like the singer is the guy with the voice. It's like maybe if we can tell him like you can only do songs like a Weird Al type style thing from
Okay.
now on. That's it. Because people are tired of this.
You're sorry, you've been reassigned by the government. You can't do hard rock. You do Weird Al stuff now.
You could do hard rock. There's no funny metal bands. I mean, all metal bands are funny, but there's no metal bands where you're like, this is funny. You
Ghost,
know, like,
right? That band Ghost?
Do they say funny shit?
No. It's just like really hilarious when you hear them versus what you see. Like when you see them, you expect something way different than like a spooky skeleton Halloween CD.
Yeah, Ghost. I mean, like, there's no
Who else?
bands that do. I saw a document, by the way, and now I'm off on a tangent about this documentary I saw on iTunes that I like want to review now on the show, and it's called How Rock Turned Into Metal, and everybody that they interviewed was like Dee Snider, a guy that was in like another hair. Oh, the guy from the new hair band, the Steel Panther.
Yeah.
It had like, and it was all just hair metal stuff, and it's like, come on, you know.
There's something else.
Yeah, there's so much more metal that, like, every time the mainstream press does anything about metal, the only people you ever get to see on it is Dee Snider, Scott Ian from Anthrax, Ozzy Osbourne, and maybe like the Come On Feel the Noise guys or something like that. But it's just not like, it's so frustrating to me that like there is no documentation of the new metal era. Just that is like all left up to us to do basically. Like nobody's covering it, you know? And it's like there were people with cameras everywhere Korn and Limp Bizkit went. It wasn't like they weren't on camera all the fucking time.
Right. No, it is still a matter of like people already don't want to admit that it was popular or it was a thing, and maybe it wasn't for a lot of them, but it was the driving hard rock at the time. Like you're ignoring a very huge chunk of history.
I think so. I think
they're just skirting around it.
It's the same thing like how people. So the two of the podcasts I do that I get like a lot of responses from are the POD cast and Shocktober, right? And it's like people just want to hear stuff about stuff that isn't being covered anywhere. You know, where it's just like, why aren't fucking people talking about the influence that Shock Jocks had? Why aren't people talking about... But that one I understand because, like, it's just a weird thing.
But me and you talk about it all the time when it comes to nostalgia, and that you think that, like, ooh, we're getting back into our kid stuff. Let's talk about Fantastic Max. Let's talk about Dino Saucers, right? Let's talk about the fucking the Wuzzles.
Yeah.
And nobody is like nostalgic for that stuff. It's like one or two Hasbro or Mattel owned nostalgic pieces. We aren't truly nostalgic. We aren't like thinking like we aren't like pining for like something different. It's just like whatever is fed to us.
Yeah, because it was like I wasn't pining for like a Transformers movie, and I would have been happy to see a GoBots movie too. Although, did y'all hear what happened? I'm going to tell you something, and look, I don't know if it's going to blow your mind, but I think that you guys are going to... Hearing this was crazy. So, this weekend in the theater, a movie was released called The Playmobil Movie. Which is
really the
in theaters.
I bet the tickets cost extra because those Playmobiles are extra.
This was
you got to go to specialty toy stores to see Playmobil to get the toys. I have to imagine that the movie they are tacking on something extra. Like
what? I thought they were the generic version of Legos. They're the more artsy version of Legos.
Playmobiles are like $40, $50. People are spending $200 and $300 on those Playmobil sets. So it's for people that think they're European.
What?
It's for like Americans that think that their children are going to like get a better education instead of like the stupid shiny Legos.
Oh, it is kind of expensive. I see, but they do sell it at Walmart.
And it's like everybody's smooth and there's like no like curvaceousness to any of it, and like yeah, Playmobil. I keep saying Playboy, but Playmobil to me was only for like that is like an elite level toy. Those things will make you bankrupt. So I worked at a toy store, and the parents that came in were all driving like fucking German SUVs and shit.
So like, oh, hello.
Well, no, they're just like they want to waste the most. They have so much money that they're like, well, the Legos are $25, but this Playmobil is $40. It's probably more educational. You're probably paying $15 more for the educationalness.
Also, no licenses.
Yeah, made of wood.
License.
Made of wood. Also, in the early days, because raising my kid, we did the anti-BPH plastic shit. But way back in the day, Playmobil was like wood shit too.
Okay. So anyway, this movie cost...
The Playmobil movie! This is ridiculous.
I know. We should go see it.
Who wants to see these smooth-ass fucking people doing this shit?
We should go see it. But the movie cost $75 million to make, and they made $12.5 million. Like, nobody fucking saw the Playmobil movie.
So this is some, like... Oh, my goodness gracious. I'm looking at the poster. This is some crazy... Like...
It's crazy. Why'd they do the Lego movie? That's what I want to know.
That's
yeah, why though?
It's wild to me because like at this point, if one of your underlings comes to you and says, "Hey, we should copy this other wildly successful brand and do what they're doing," it's not fucking gonna work.
No, Playmobil is never gonna be as big as Legos, no matter what they do.
Clorox now is doing Will It Clog, which is off of that blender thing, Will It Blend?
Yeah.
Now they're putting 4,000 gummy bears into a toilet to show that like Clorox can unclog it. But like it's a copycat campaign. Like we've already seen this before. We've seen little tiny plastic figures animated.
Yeah, and there's no licensing. So it's like
which is good. That's why why the book smart people like it. That's why
Batman ain't gonna show up or like Kylo Ren.
There's not gonna be a princess that has to be saved or any sort of themes that they're not into.
But didn't you think that we all liked like one of the things about the Lego movie, and now this is going to sound very childish to some of you, but I think one of the main things about the Lego movie or a movie like Wreck-It Ralph is that you got to see a lot of that intellectual property together in the same thing, right? So, like, you got to see, like, oh, look, the Jurassic Park dinosaurs are over here, like, with Batman or something, you know? I don't think that any of that's in the movies, but it was just, like, one of those things where, like, back when I was a kid, my favorite shit, and I probably said this on the air a million times. So at the end of all of our live shows that have people on them, we like to bring everybody up on the stage and like riff with them and shit. And the reason we do that, I mean, Brett, I mean, this is the reason I think we should do it. Is like my reasoning behind it is when I was a kid, anytime I turned on the TV and somebody from one show was on another fucking show, I was so excited to see those two worlds mix up with each other. And like, it was like, there used to be a night on Thursdays where they would fucking show all the regular shows but mix the characters up and put them in different shows. And man, that was just my favorite. Or when G.I. Joe had to work with Cobra, or when G.I. Joe was they were talking about making the G.I. Joe Transformers crossover movies and shit. And
what about the critic was on The Simpsons?
The critic on The Simpsons, The Simpsons on Family Guy. Like, that whole kind of thing made me happy, and that's why we do it. And Playmobil is just a bunch of, like, generic things that they made. Guys, like Spy.
It is. You're right.
Knight. Vacation Guy, you know?
Yeah. It's just, it's worthless toys.
Yeah,
it's still just toys. And
so
without the poison of like a Batman or something to hook people in, it's just not, you know, that, you know, like, you have to control people with their licenses, their franchises. You can't just have a bunch of wooden dolls pretend to be people and make a movie out of it and expect anyone to be into it.
I mean, I am very, very fucking curious. I'm actually very curious about, like, if this movie was actually... one of the reasons I would watch this is because I want to know if it was actually taken seriously or if it's as cynical as it comes off when you see the poster.
It has to be. I mean, it's somebody that was required to do something to make a splash at Playmobil, right? And they're going to get, like, they probably will get sent out the door, but they'll have, like, a severance package, and they'll go somewhere else, and they'll pick their big idea, and they'll get another severance package, and they'll go somewhere else, you know?
I mean, this Playmobil shit is kind of actually cool, because, like, I'm looking at...
I don't like... I hate franchises. I support a Playmobil universe without any sort of branding, no Dr. Pepper logos on any of the pop. No fucking anything on anything. No NASA logos on the astronauts. We're talking about backyard astronauts in the Playmobil universe, right?
It's none of the real astronauts.
No, none of the real nothing. None of it. No poisoned outsider. This is imagination. This isn't like our shit ass world put on your toys.
How great would it be, though, if me and Brett went to the movies to see the Playmobil movie with Charlotte? Like, we just take Charlotte, we just have her sit between us and watch.
We just record her. We should just record her reaction
and then keep saying, "Do you like this?
What do you think of this?
Yeah, hey,
is that cool?"
The shitty fucking movie. So yeah, I just wonder if it's cynical like the stuff I grew up watching. When, like, what the best example is how cynical the Garbage Pail Kids movies was, right? Like, it was like you could have, or no,
that wasn't cynical. That took a lot of time, and care, and love, and attention.
I agree. Masters of the Universe.
That was cynical.
That was like the most cynical. Or Mario Brothers.
Yes.
Where it's like these cynical things where it was like, I will put the name of it on the movie.
We can make whatever we want, yeah.
And then it'll just be whatever, and they don't care. They're a bunch of fucking kids anyway.
Yeah.
You know, and they'll like it.
We got some people that have been waiting for a while. We are doing a call-in show, so let's see who's up next here. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Hey, what's up? This is Dan Frankus on stuff. How's it going?
What's up, Dan? Yourself? I almost call you Frangus there, but I figured since you told us your real name, we should call you by that.
Can we call you Dangus?
Isn't it weird when you say your Twitter name out loud?
Yeah.
Mine is too.
Yeah, I mean, that started as like a funny way to type penis, so.
Yeah. You want to hear, this is a real quick little thing. I was at Kroger the other night, and there was like some people around and stuff, and this guy was super nice to me, and he said, "Hey, Murder Brian," and he like shook my hand, and I was like, if anybody else heard him walk up to a guy that's a dad with a kid that looks completely fucking normal, Murder Brian, you know that we're like trying to figure out what that was supposed to mean.
Yeah.
Like, is he the leader
Did
of
I
a
hear that right?
biker gang?
Did he say Matthew Bryan?
They've had it happen a few times where the person says, "Hey, Murder Brian," and in front of other people, and I'm like, what do they think I am? Like, what could I possibly be? I start thinking, like, what, like, other than like a world famous hacker?
Yeah, maybe.
That's
Maybe
lofty.
they think it's like drug activity in the Kroger. They're calling the police to report it.
That might be true. What would your guess be if you saw this happen?
Murder
right?
Brian.
Some guy walks
Hey,
up to
Murder
a guy
Brian.
and says, "I love your stuff, Murder Brian. I think you're really great."
I would just think he kills it. I would just think you were like some guy that tried to come with a different name for like Killer Brian.
Just an influencer. I just like one of those influencers that like really turns people onto the good stuff. Maybe
Murder like a SoundCloud rapper.
Well, I mean, you kill it
or
like you murder shit. You murder anything that you do. You fucking murder it. You do
Okay.
it well. You're Murder Brian. Like,
Okay.
you know, that's just dead in the dirt.
Like, it sounds also like a 9-line apparel guy name though too. Like, maybe they think I'm like a conservative vlogger. Maybe.
Yeah, you do look.
I do. I got all the vibes.
You could be a conservative blogger too.
Yeah. So what's going on tonight, Dan?
I just wanted to tell a quick work story.
Cool.
That it's about like dumb guy CEO mindset.
Okay.
So this happened a few years ago now, but I'm in a job where if there's an injury at work, I have to kind of like go talk to the person that got injured and find out what happened and all that. So I got called to the medical office saying, "Hey, there's an injury. Come, talk to him, find out what happened." And I go in, and there's a woman, probably about 60, and she holds up her hand, and it's all black and blue. And I was like, "Oh my God, what happened?" And she said, "It was a handshake." And and we had a handshake, and
that's not like a unique name for some of the equipment that you have there.
No, and we had some laboratories there, so I was like, "Oh, did someone like shake your hand with their gloves on, like they still had chemicals on there or something?" And she said, "No, it was Mr. Johnson," and that's not his real name, but he was the CEO at the time.
He sounds like a Johnson so far.
Yeah. So it turns out what happened was we had just renovated one of the office buildings, and he had come down to like tour the new office area and was going around saying hi to people. And she came up and said, "Hey, Mr. Johnson, my name is so-and-so. I work here." And he shook her hand, and he did it so hard that he like broke blood vessels in her hand, and it got all bruised.
He squeezed her hand that fucking hard?
Some guys do that though, dude. I shake hands after shows sometimes where I'll be like, "That guy kind of hurt me there."
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this guy, like, he was shaking her hand like he's trying to, strong arm a business
Knuckle
deal
roll.
or something, but but
you
she's
gotta
a
do the
6-year-old
knuckle
woman
roll.
that works for him.
If you can squeeze someone so hard that like the knuckle rolls back and forth, like didn't Macron pull that on Trump? Like didn't he absolutely crush
He
his
crushed
fucking
his hand. He really gave his hand like a real good squeeze. I don't know. I don't think it's aggressive either. I think guys are so freaked out about the handshake that they just always are doing something stupid,
No,
and we all.
I mean,
also,
if you have a good relationship with somebody, like it's a comfortability thing, and when you're dealing with the public. If you're dealing with somebody and this is the first time you've ever shaken their hand, you shouldn't go for break their fucking bones level. Like that's for your buddies. Like you do that to your buddies, right?
Yeah, I can.
Nobody else.
Yeah, I don't know though, man. Like it just seems like what I'm trying to say is when people first meet, when we're talking about people who don't know each other, I think, and this is just for me. But especially it probably has to come from one of those power guys, right? Like you're saying this is a CEO guy and he's coming in to work and he probably wants everybody to be like, to know he's the guy, right? And he just is like, I have to shake this hand hard.
Yeah.
But he just goes too far because it's probably when he shakes hands with more those power guys, it's fucking like they're almost like trying to fight, you know?
Well, yeah, it's intimidation. It really isn't. It's a matter of like saying, I'm aggressive. I will harm you physically. That's how I got here. That's what it's going to take to get my position.
Yeah.
Like, those fuckers need to be sent out the door. Daniel Plainview motherfuckers. Right? That's what it is.
Yeah, and I'm not even, like, defending them or anything. I think their way of doing things is fucking stupid, you know?
No, but it is customary. It is. I still meet a lot of old guys that I shake hands with that go so hard at it that I'm like, God fucking damn it. Wow. You really tried to sun me on that.
Yeah, I've been there,
and that
man.
wasn't necessary.
Yeah, job interviews a lot of times too, man.
Would someone try to? Yeah, would someone do, like in a professional capacity? It's a domination thing, but even like privately, when people do it, I think that's like extra. But like a interview or something like that. People are just like, I'm gonna go all out this time to let them know who I am, right?
Yeah. And I think I also, like I said, I think there is even like a certain kind of anxiety in the handshake. Because like I just have heard so many adult men like agonizing over handshakes in my life. Like that is like a common theme in radio and like talk radio and like comedy and just regular conversation. You're talking about going like that social interaction is that's one of the ones with the most, I think, maybe gray area rules where it's like kind of left up to the people who are doing it. And I think it does, like, when it comes down, because I always, like, I'm the same way. I don't want to like squeeze somebody's hand hard, and this is probably bad with me, but like I don't want to be shaking their hand for a long time, and like I'm just like, hey, here, and I shake, and I'm kind of weak, but I'm trying to like pull away as soon as possible. You know, it's like I'm more going in for like a stealthy,
we gotta do
kind of like light fingers, and then a guy will squeeze and I'm like, God damn, man.
For me, for me, honestly, it's different with every single person. Honestly, Brian is so uncomfortable with it that I know not to try to greet him with any sort of touching or anything like that.
Handshake or
other
hug.
people, but it's like sometimes you gotta know whether you're going like a foregrip or like a reverse grip, or if you're just gonna do like a bump or something. But I think it's all related to how intimately you know the person. And from the get-go, if all you're doing is dominating people and like trying to show that you can crush them, you should be like, I don't know, what do you have to do? Watch some. You have like that's the person has to be excommunicated, right?
Yeah, it's also
if you make someone's hand black and blue, you gotta like really quarantine that person and like tell them to take a step away and rethink how they're shaking fucking strangers.
Right,
hands.
don't shake hands. Just we're not gonna shake anymore.
Do that to your fucking dad, so that way you can strike some fear in his heart. But for everybody else, go a little bit lighter.
Yeah, because that's how I feel
this
too.
is like a grandma.
Yeah, not necessary.
Yeah, and that's how I feel.
There's a lot of there's a lot of masculinity tied up in that too. Like every sitcom from like the 80s and 90s, it's like if they're if a guy has a weak handshake or whatever, it's a big joke and gets a laugh line about how weak the handshake was or whatever.
Well, there is also a thing in pro wrestling, and I've heard wrestlers like agonize over this, but like you're supposed to give like a really light handshake. You don't, it's like supposed to intentionally be like you're very light. And I think it's like something where it's like we symbolize that we're going to work together and soft. But it's like, even then I've heard so many people be like, I don't know, man. I feel like I should do the handshake, but I also don't know how to do the handshake. It's just like it's a really weird thing. Like, and you're right, sitcoms really fucked us up on that. Sitcoms have fucked us up on a lot of things in the 90s. Indian food is something that fucked us up in the 90s on those things. Shaking hands, because there's also this whole thing from like, it seemed like all of pop culture and all the people on top of stuff for a number of years were like trying to end shaking hands because they're all afraid of the germs. So they were like, hey, when you come to me, do a fist bump. When you come to me, do the elbow bump. But I don't want to shake hands with people. So that is also a weird thing. I've told the story, my interview for the cable company, the guy went to shake my hands and I just waved at him. As he held his hand out, I waved like this and just walked out because I didn't want to shake hands, because at the time I had convinced myself that shaking hands is gross. So I just think it's all of that stuff. You know, there's so much to like toxic masculinity and like male culture that it like there are 100 fucking million things that you shouldn't do when you're a man.
No, but it's a matter of communication with people. I think that like the problem I have around it is I think that phone people are going to stop shaking hands with people, and it's something that is like totally related to how you know folks. Like if it's professional or it's goofy or whatever it is, like handshaking is still the shit.
I hug.
Here's my standard is like reverse, then standard, and then you hook the fingers and then you snap. That's what I was taught from a young age, and that's what like I meet up with a lot of people that know that like standard way of doing things. So that's my normal handshake. But for everybody else, it's just, you know, whatever they're into.
Yeah, I hug.
I adapt.
Though. I'm fine with. I think I even like hugging.
I do hug more.
Handshakes. Every time I see the Chapo guys, it's not a handshake. It's always we all give each other a hug.
You know, I like to do a handshake and then pull them in for the hug because it feels like I was just gonna shake your hand, but now I want a little bit of the meat. I want a little bit of the action. Let me get some contact. Let me get a little bit more contact. Handshake ain't enough.
I love like when you see somebody you haven't seen in a long time, you give each other a hug. I think it's cool, man. Like it feels nice. It's like it's like it's like sort of a physical way of saying like I love hanging out with you. I missed you. I'm gonna give you a big hug.
And then for the rest of us, that is the connection. But when your CEO comes to your job and
crushes your hand.
Yeah, they just send you to the hospital like every other interaction you have with your boss.
Yeah, that guy should be told. That guy should be told he's not allowed to shake hands anymore.
Yeah,
that's my opinion. Yeah,
put him in a straitjacket.
No, just say
straitjacket him for a little bit.
Okay, you can straitjacket him for a little bit, but my point is just say, dude, you're not allowed to shake hands with the employees anymore. You break them.
Yeah.
That's a ridiculous thing to do. To squeeze a person's hand so hard that it's black and blue is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, that is bad. Too much.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, and like, you know, she only ended up needing first aid, which I was, you know, happy about obviously, but part of me was disappointed that it didn't need a little more medical attention, because if it did, we would have had to write it on our log, like our injury log.
Yeah.
So our injury logs would have said like hands crushed by CEO.
You need to coach her for a lawsuit next time.
Yeah, you need to be like, hey, doesn't this? Maybe we should just go to the hospital.
Hey, next time you stick your frail ass hand out there, why don't you let him why don't you leave a scar or something for us that we can report?
Do you do like doctors?
Kind of flash him a look that makes him.
I'm sorry.
Feel threatened.
Yeah, start to feel. Let him know that you think you're equals. Then he'll break the shit. To let you know you're not.
Do you do like nurse stuff? Is that like what you do?
No.
Oh, okay.
I do like safety stuff, like occupational safety.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like doing HR shit. Like he's just showed up in a conference room with someone with a broken hand from the CEO and was supposed to figure it out.
Yeah.
Put some cooling aid on it or something.
Well, I was just thinking. Well, we can talk about. We'll talk about it when we hang up. I think
we got a full
we
queue.
need a nurse to call.
Okay.
A nurse.
Yeah, the nurse. We do have a nurse. That's who she was with, but I have to do like the incident investigation, so I get called in too.
That's nice. I wanted to ask about the Chipotle nurse thing.
Oh, yeah.
I really want to talk about that.
We have a full queue.
Okay, maybe we'll talk about that on Wednesday. All right, thanks for calling, buddy. We're gonna go. We gotta empty this queue out. You know, I don't even know what.
All right, thanks, guys.
Have a good night.
Peace.
We got a full queue because I said we're gonna fucking probably give a ham.
That's such. Yeah, people are trying to get that ham.
I think they are trying to get
Just
that ham.
if you're only calling in to get a ham, just get out of the queue and message me. I'll just give you the fucking ham.
No, if you're going to call in to get a ham, come and dazzle us. Please dazzle us. Don't do a bit. Give
Ham
us
for a
something
song.
to talk about.
Ham or a celebration roast for a song.
Yeah, give us something to talk about. You know what I'm saying?
That is so fucked up, though. Honestly, that someone gets their hand broken like that in a handshake, because, like, I mean, you just have to, you know, how to lay it on thick. Like what you said about the pro wrestlers is absolutely right. You're a super powerful, jacked up dude, and you go to shake somebody's hand. You cannot do you cannot lay it on, you know. You can greet them with like just palm to palm, or you can act like a little fucking insecure peon and just squeeze the fucking life out of people to let them know that like you deserve to be the boss. Which, I mean, that's the problem with the world, is that the person that is the most violent gets to be the fucking boss. Like the person that's squeezing the hands gets $1 million. That's the best way to get $1 million fucking dollars, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
As far as the mathematics I've seen. All right, let's see who's on the line. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who the fuck are we talking to tonight? Oh, I didn't hit it on time. Get in here, man.
What timing?
Woman,
come on.
Non-binary person. Hey, what's up?
Hey, it's Joey. I'm calling from Japan.
What's going on in Japan?
From Japan. How's
we
it
want to
going?
go to Japan so bad. I mean, not to do a live show, but I
Yeah.
mean, if we did get there and you wanted us to like hang out and then say stuff like,
we'll do a show for you, but you have to like sign some IRS documents for the United States to prove that we actually did work while we were there.
One person. I bet we could get 3 people in Japan to come to a show.
Probably.
I could get some people.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all I
listen to you
need.
guys, so.
We saw plane tickets to
I can show
Japan
you guys.
for $500 round trip, and it's really killing me not to be going there.
That was a deal. That was a deal like a few years ago. I had a few friends come out and take advantage of that. But
Yeah.
I haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah, it happens from time to time. You just got to stay on your toes.
That's how people get to Wrestle Kingdom. God, what is our time called out here? Eastern Standard Time, right?
Yeah.
Okay. This is
So
wild.
How are things in Japan?
It's around. It's good. It's around almost 1 in the afternoon. So I have Mondays off. So.
Oh, that's
Perfect time
wonderful.
to call in,
I
so.
wish it was 1 in the afternoon
Yeah.
right now. How nice would that be if it was 1 in the afternoon? Oh my goodness, I would feel so fancy free.
I would just be getting
My
up.
goodness, Jesus. Yeah, that sounds great. Well, I'm glad you called from the future because you gave me something to look forward to.
Holy shit.
Great,
We've been
yeah.
going an hour and a half.
Yeah. I was just gonna call to say talk about immigration because I'm from Chicago, but I got married out here actually to someone who's from the UK, and we've been dealing with immigration for like 2 years.
Right.
Because I originally wanted to go back and go to grad school, but can't even get my wife in. So we're still waiting on like immigration bullshit. It sucks.
Yeah, that stuff kills me. Like dealing with any sort of bureaucracy, I can do one thing, and that's like a week. I can fill out one piece of paperwork a week because I cannot do anything else. It's too fucking arduous of a task to try to deal with like any of the red tape, like getting things done with intergovernmental or border ass bullshit agencies.
I think what'll happen, here's my guess, okay? We plan to have Stefan, John, and Daniel with us in the Midwest after the for the DNC, and do like a little tour of the Midwest. And if it truly is as easy as they say for them to work here, then I promise I'll try to figure out. I feel like that'll be an impetus or a kick in the butt. You know what I mean?
To get to Canada or Japan?
For us to get to Canada. Yeah, I'm sorry about
Canada,
that.
then Japan?
Yeah, well, we've talked about this, but Australia is one of the places we feel like we could actually do something in. I don't feel like Japan is going to work.
Yeah, it's just... I mean, none of the wrestling trips we've taken have worked as far as business decisions go, but they've been like great ideas.
Yeah, that's true. Can we take cameras? I mean, if we can get content out of going to Japan, I will absolutely 100%
someday
go to Japan someday.
There's a lot of comedians that come over here. Like, comedians will come over and play at small clubs. Like, Aziz Ansari came not too long ago, and he just played at a club that's like at a British bar, at like a pub.
Okay.
And they charge like about $40 for tickets and stuff like that, and then the comedians get a decent amount of money. So.
Yeah, $40 is great.
I mean,
That's great more than we charge here. I love that. I love $40.
Yeah. People are used to paying that much money though, because if you go to see your friend's band, it costs $25-$30. That's just standard. So sucks, but people are kind of used to paying it.
Yeah, I love Japan so far. I love that people just pay big money to see entertainment. No, that's interesting. I don't know. Yeah, I could expect. Of course, I know there's a way to get in there. I've known people that have made the journey, but it's like music transcends things. It's kind of like mathematics, where it's like a universal language. But what we do is mostly in English, so that is like seems like a challenge.
Can you play music?
But like losing money as a business is something that we've been great at doing. Like every single year when we file our taxes, we come in right at zero. It's like, how much did you make this year? It's like, I don't know, about 73 cents. We spent everything that we made, so that way we're not responsible for anything according to the governments. And that's what sucks about like the border shit and dealing with that. I've never had to, I am in a privileged position where I've never had to deal with that bureaucracy. So, what was the shittiest moment that you've had in those situations?
I mean, we actually ended up paying like a lawyer like $5,000.
That's
to help us with this case.
That's all it is.
So that sucks, right? And like, because we're both like, we don't know how to do this shit. Let's just pay someone. And we were told it would take about a year. And we've just been waiting really long. Like, we come and we hand something in that they ask for. And then they're like, oh no, you need to do this other thing. And then we wait 2 to 3 months to hear back from that. And then it's like, we need you to sign this other thing and hand this other thing in. And it's like the same thing that we handed in 3 or 4 months ago, and they're just like, "Oh, it's not in the system anymore."
Nice.
So it's like bullshit like that, and so now we're just like, should we just stay here? Should we go to the UK? I don't know if we're even gonna be able to go, but like luckily we have a job here that wants keep us, so they're like, yeah, you guys can stay as long as you want.
Yeah, you know what I mean, unless there's a reason to be in another place, like take the path of least resistance and just figure out what you can make happen where you're at. Like if you're with your PIC, like the one you love, then it doesn't fucking matter. Like me and Erica moved all around the country until we had a kid, and then was like, well, we have to do family stuff now. There was obligations there, but until then, it was like, why don't you figure out what weird shit you can get to, in Japan together?
Right. I mean, that's the thing. We're getting older, so we're starting to think about a family, and we're like, well,
okay.
Do we even want to bring up a kid? Do we even want to bring up a kid in America? And she's terrified of U.S. healthcare, which rightfully so. But she also is like a teacher, and she taught in London before coming out to Japan to teach, and so she would be a teacher in America too. And so like, she's like, do I want to teach at a school in America when there's like these, these shootings and like all that bullshit? And she's just like, she's kind of terrified of all that stuff. So
yeah, I mean,
I think we'll
go ahead.
I think we'll probably stay here at least for like a few more years.
Yeah.
But like having a kid in Japan with, like we live in Tokyo, and it's easy to get by with English. I mean, we speak Japanese a little bit, but like I don't think I could do like have a kid in school here or anything like that, or doing like daycare. So I feel like once we have a kid, we'll probably move on somewhere else. But
Okay.
yeah,
Well, that makes sense. I
Yeah.
can understand. I understand the path that you're going with. Yeah, for that kind of stuff, it's just like frustrating to. It was like when I got caught with weed. It was like, oh, we caught you with weed. It was like, okay, but if you don't want to get in trouble for the weed, you can give money to a lawyer, and they will take care of all of your problems. And like that's how it is. Like moving amongst the borders, it's like, oh, you can't move from country to country, and it's like, oh, but I paid $5,000 to this other person. They're like, oh, well, that's very respectable of you to do. I guess that you can move
Right.
from border to border now. You've actually absolutely earned the right to move wherever you like in this country,
Yeah.
in this world,
right. Yeah, but apparently that's not even enough anymore. So
Yeah,
so we'll see.
Yeah, it's a challenge. I mean, the best way to eat an elephant is bite by bite. So you got to like just start with the
Yeah.
first one and keep moving the direction that you want. But I'm happy to hear that like you found somebody and you're ready to move in that direction. And however it comes out, it's going to be a fucking awesome ride.
Yeah, for sure.
And thanks for calling in. We're doing break now?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we're all set for break.
Yeah, peace out. Have a good one.
We're gonna play that.
Motherfucking Joey from
All right,
Japan. Yeah.
We're gonna play the Howling Commandos live album because they only have 3 songs and we might not have had enough time to break. So we're gonna play their live album. This is the band that's gonna be backing us at Ruby Tuesday. They rock hard.
In Columbus, Ohio. December 27th.
December
I was going to say
27th.
February.
But we're gonna fucking go on that stage. And here,
December
let me just say
27th.
this. We're gonna have a band. We're gonna have a bunch of different acts. It's gonna be streaming live on the internet, and we're gonna announce the next one at the end of this one.
Yeah. And,
so you'll be able to know who we have coming. And believe me, very exciting guests, just like the first one.
Yeah, Icy Jake's going to perform one of his songs.
Yeah.
If you come, it's an all-encompassing ticket. We get to close the bar down. We'll be there until 2 a.m. sinning like crazy. It's going to be like that den in Pinocchio where he turned into a fucking donkey.
And obviously you can bring me drugs. That would be great. But that's all.
And this is the Howling Commandos. We've got quite a few calls in the queue right now. We're going to go to speed round after this, but enjoy the music.
We got time, dude. We got a ton of time.
Well, I just want to tell them not to expect shit from us.
We have like an hour and 20 left.
Okay,
now.
that's fine. I just don't want them to expect like.
something for the encore. So, what did everybody think of the Valentinos? They were really good. Really fucking good. What about Loud Pedal? Yeah. Oh yeah. Byron 10 balls, Joey 38 dicks. Yeah. Prime Directive. Yeah. Oh yeah. So this is a cover. This is a cover. It's a cover. Everybody. Is this us? Yeah, it's a cover. We're gonna play it. It's a cover. Everybody should get fucking crazy. Hit it. Man, we're losing clothes by the minute. So, it's funny that you would bring that up. It's not Slayer. But, this song is called Hell is Real. It's about that beautiful Ohio landmark on fucking 70 and 71. I'm gonna eat shit on that. It's gonna be worth it. Alright, this song is called Hell is Real. It's about hell being real. Yeah. What?
My suggestion would be to do it the right way.
We in? Hey, welcome back to Street Fight Radio. Welcome to the show. That was the Howling Commandos. You can find them on bandcamp.com, howlingcommandos.bandcamp.com. If you want to hear more of what they're doing, we're also going to be doing a show with them. They're going to be our backing band for the incomparable Street Fight Radio variety show that's happening on December 27th of this month, the one that we're in. Here in Columbus, Ohio, we're going to have guests like Lindsay Martin, Old Linz from Twitter. We're going to have the Garbage Brain University, Natalie D, and Drew Toothpaste. You know them from online. And we're also going to have the Trollbillies will be there. I think, is Tanya going to be there or not? Do you know?
I don't think so. That's kind of
on the show.
It was a rough date for her.
Yeah.
It is a rough date for people.
Yeah,
December
it's close.
27th is 2 days after Christmas, but we don't have Lindsay if we don't do December 27th.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of people in town visiting their families in Ohio. So the place to be on Friday, December 27th in Columbus is at Ruby Tuesday for the Street Fight Variety Show. You can get tickets for that at store.streetfightradio.com. Check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's going to be crazy. Like, we're kind of stressing about it currently, but I think when I start getting the material down, I think we're gonna all start feeling good, and we're gonna make this fucking thing happen, man.
I did.
Dream show. I think we said this last week, but this show is sort of a dream for me and Brett. We have wanted to do more high concept shows. You can't do these shows on the road; they're impossible. But we didn't feel comfortable trying to draw in Columbus for a long time, and now we do. And we're doing what we envisioned our live shows being before the reality of money and what our fans actually like about us showed up, you know?
Oh, yeah, what you can conceivably pull off from driving town to town, you know?
Exactly.
With the amount of money that we're pulling in, you know?
Yeah, because people, I think, like, there's a thing where people are like, I also, in my mind, I think that when we do a live show, now, I could be wrong, I could be reading into stuff, but I really think our listeners just want to hear us standing in front of them, bare bones, like a punk show. That's how I see street fight shows. It's like they're just a punk show. There's no stage show. There's us moving around and stuff like that. And I think that's very cool. And that's the way I like to run the podcast too. But like, we had really high ambitions to do really crazy live shows. And this is our first shot at it. And I think letting people see what we do live on the internet is going to be great. Being asked to take this show on the road is going to be great, even though we can't do it.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Maybe we'll make a ton of money and we'll be able to take it on the road. But
I did want to do some mid-show corrections. Straza Preti says that Playmobil is unionized. Their company is like, you know, on that next level shit. That's why it costs so much.
Oh, that's why I buy Playmobil all the time instead of Legos.
That's why we need to get out and support the Playmobil movie. Go to your Redbox this weekend. There's double up coupons. Use the code SFRadio to get a Redbox rewards coupon for the Playmobil movie. Folks, we have to support shit that isn't licensed by capitalism.
Yeah, don't go see Playmobil.
Don't watch wooden people do fascism.
Yeah, I hate Playmobil.
There's plenty of real people doing fascism.
Yeah, go watch one of them,
I guess. All right, let's see who's on the line. We got some time, but we have a queue here going. More than last week. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Hey, you're talking to Steve from Shanghai.
Hey, Shanghai.
My goodness, what is going on?
Can I just say this? And I'm going to say this in the best radio voice I can do. Street Fight International. International. We're doing an international show. That was my man cow. My Bubba is also the other day I was listening to Bubba, and he sent a guy. What he does is he sends this guy to the college campus with a goat, and then sees if it like makes girls want to come up and talk to him, like a baby goat. And the guy had been saying like, the guy was like, yeah, this is for Bubba the Love Sponge, one of the top local DJs. And Bubba got mad because he's on Twitch, and he was like, no, we are an international show. And I was like, all right.
So
how's it going in China?
Yeah, I want to know. We forgot to ask Joey from Japan, but there in China, when you look at the horizon, it's kind of flat, ain't it? Like anywhere you go in this world, shit seems flat.
I don't.
Yeah, completely flat here.
It's a flat world, and I'm glad to hear that you're doing well on the other side of it.
Yeah.
Mostly I just wanted to call in and say hey from China and let you know you got somebody listening here.
Well, we can tour in China. This is perfect. I think this is
They are
great.
communists
This
there.
is like such a wonderful revelation from this call-in show is that in 2020 we're going to go to Japan and then China.
Okay, don't start making promises like that because we're definitely not going to go to Japan or China.
I want them to see us though.
I mean, a fucking movie like it would have to be like me and Brett get 5 famous levels up before we could go to Japan or China.
We're gonna do like a Logan Paul thing.
Yeah. That's what we want to go there and act like Logan Paul. No, I want to go there and like really like hang out with people that know what the cool stuff is.
Yeah, can we hang out with you if we come to Shanghai?
Yeah, there's cool stuff to do here.
Probably.
You like drinking?
We have
Brian's
that in
out.
also Ohio. There's no drugs there, is there?
Drugs are like super illegal. They'll kick you out of the country.
That sucks.
No weed?
No weed, no nothing.
I thought, don't they smoke weed in North Korea?
I don't
I don't
know.
know about North Korea.
I've never had that North Korea shit.
They like raid clubs and bars and shit.
Oh, that's scary. I don't
That's
like
no
that.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not cool.
There's-
They raided a burger restaurant one time.
For weed?
Yeah.
That's, it's wild.
It was insane. Nobody understood why.
It's wild how illegal it is in other places where like we're just now like loosening the reins on it here, but there's like there's states in the United States where it's pretty bad.
Yeah, I feel like I'm living in hell because
Yeah.
I can only get it for like $2.50 an ounce, compared to Oregon that has it for like $75.
Yeah.
And then there's other places where, I couldn't even survive.
You don't miss the weed though?
Dude, I used to live in Portland. Of course I miss it.
How'd you end up there?
My wife took a job out here for a big company. Like, we spent a while traveling through Asia, and we liked it here just because the culture is really cool and all the people are really great.
Yeah, you don't need weed.
And they offered her a job out here, and we're like, yeah, we'll do it for a while. So we're spending a couple years here.
That's wonderful. Yeah, I mean, I would I wouldn't mind. Like, you can always come back to $75 ounces. You know where to get them. Like, you can always move back to where to find them.
Where are you from, can I ask?
Like, originally?
Yeah, where are you from in the United States?
I am originally from Virginia, but we lived in like Arizona and California and Oregon.
So
we just kind of move around a lot.
Yeah,
So
you're a global citizen.
Yeah. So would you have
Yeah.
considered yourself, you were probably a city guy then, it sounds from the places you were
See why
staying.
you can see why.
Right?
I am now.
So
I come from like a little ass town.
What are some of the differences between American cities and Shanghai?
The transit here is phenomenal and like stupid cheap. You can get a metro ride anywhere in the city for like 50 cents or something.
Oh, okay. See, we are just getting screwed over here. Although we can have weed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they pay us off. They're like,
Yeah,
you're
it's a
miserable.
trade-off.
Yeah, you're miserable because you can't move it. You can't you have no mobility. Why don't you just stay at home and get high instead?
We'll put you on a ton of brain drugs too. To
Yeah,
keep
you just do brain drugs instead of trains. It's like if you hit it real hard, it's like being on a train.
Yeah. I'm mad about trains here because you read these stories, like a lot of times, this is weird thing in Columbus because we have like really bad mass transit here. And it's like you read these stories where guys, engineers and city planners and stuff will go out of their way to construct the perfect bullet train line to get you to Cleveland, Cincinnati, Columbus, and Chicago and Pittsburgh, right? And it's like you see it and you're like, we should fucking do that.
Yeah.
You know?
That makes sense.
Yeah. We just got done taking a bullet train ride through the like more western part of China.
How fast does it go?
I think on the way back it was doing 200 and some kilometers per hour.
200 and
It's like 120
anymore in American.
Oh,
it's like
wow.
That's 120, like 128 or something. I don't know.
128 miles an hour.
So let me see if I know my if I'm still a gearhead.
Yeah, that's wild. Are like, I don't know how
124.
Yeah, I don't know like what. I mean, are people nice to each other on the street, or are like they kind of like us, where they keep their head down and they don't ever look at anybody? Like, is there just things about it there? Like, do you have personal space, things like that?
There's less space just because there's a shit ton of people, but everybody is always super friendly. They're always excited to like share their lives and their culture and stuff with you, and they live a lot longer. And we think it's because of shit like that, because there's a park across the street we go to, and every morning there's like hundreds of old people just hanging out and socializing and exercising and just having a great time. And I think they live longer because of shit like that.
Man, I would love to see that. Like, I live in a city that's not...
it's super community focused.
Yeah, I live in a city that's not big. Columbus isn't like big, but you really don't like mix with other people when you're hanging out. I mean, maybe that's... It's culture. It is cultural, but it's also maybe my fault too, because like, you know, we'll go to these concerts in the park and stuff, and I don't talk to anybody else at the concert. But the truth is, I don't think anybody else at the concert wants to talk to me. I don't think anybody's there to meet people.
They've been trained to feel the same way, though.
Yeah.
They've been trained to be standoffish, to be an island, to not be a part of anything.
Yeah, I think we're all like that.
No, I mean, that's how we've been socialized to be.
Yeah. Well, it's just like...
I think it goes against...
it's funny, I've told this story twice today now, but me and Brett went to see a wrestling show, All Out, last Labor Day weekend, and Brett took acid, so he was like extra crazy at the show, and when the pledge happened, I chickened out and stood up, but looked at my phone, which is like half chickening out, or no, 3/4 chickening out. And left my hat on. But Brett and this other woman that was like 2 rows over, she sat and he sat. And through the whole show, Brett had a rapport with this woman that was across the aisle. They like kind of liked different wrestlers, you know? So Brett would be like, oh no, you stop. And she'd be like, shut up. And you shut. And it was like a really good fucking time. But the whole time, it was super disconcerting to me.
Really?
It was.
Why?
I don't know, man.
To be engaging with a stranger?
Yeah, because it was like, are we bothering this person?
No, she was smiling.
No. I know.
But you know, babysitting somebody on psychedelics, though, I do understand the fear of like, is this too much? You know, it's hard to understand whether someone's like being a bother.
Yeah. And that, I mean, like I take that out and like just expand that into the regular world, where it's like, even like today or yesterday while I was on my walk, a Scientologist stopped me. Again, this is the second time in 2 weeks this has happened. A Scientologist stopped me and said, do you want to take an EV test? And I said, no. And she was like, you don't want to see if you have stress? And I'm like, I don't have stress. You know, which is a lie. I have a ton of stress. I'm always freaked out.
Yeah.
But she was like, you have no stress. And I was like, not any that I care about, and just kept going. I don't want to take the test, dude.
Yeah, you don't want to break their machines on stress.
Well, everybody that, after I posted that they asked me the first time, everybody's like, why didn't you take the test? That's like content for the show. And I was like, well, not taking the test is also content for the show. You know, I kind of want to take it in a way, but I feel like they're going to sit and talk to me forever.
Well, you know, the thing about it when it comes to religion is that you will deny it 3 times. Like, that's like the true mark of a Judas. And
yeah.
So you've done it twice so far, but I think that like if you're truly a chosen person and your thetans are like arranged in the right order, that like on the 3rd go round you'll just do the damn test.
Yeah.
Right.
I just don't
you don't want to like say no to your fate, right? You don't want to just say no to the people that are trying to tell you about you.
Yeah, I just like Scientology to me is like not something I would have thought would be canvassing on the street because they have such like a negative. People have such a negative view of them.
There's money.
Yeah, but I mean,
There's
it's just
money
like
to
how
be
many
made.
people do you think they pull?
There's money to be made in Scientology.
Yeah, that's
because
true.
it costs money to make it to the next level. And it's just like getting people to sign up for like climate change campaigns. It's just like getting people to sign up for anything that you can make money from. You're going to have somebody on the bottom just out there like bothering people because that counts as work that you can claim on your taxes.
Yeah, you're right. So there's not many churches are there a decent amount of churches in Shanghai? Am I stupid?
No, make no assumptions, please.
No, there's not a lot. There's like 2 or 3 I can think of.
We're talking about Christian-ass churches? Like Jesus motherfucking Christ churches?
Like
Jesus Herbert
there's
Christ.
a Catholic church somewhere, and then there's like a Russian Orthodox church that's been turned into a museum.
Okay.
But yeah, they're not anywhere.
That sounds
like
great. That sounds like a
Buddhism
relief.
Or yeah, there's not a lot of religion here at all.
Yeah, which is probably one of the reasons maybe people are so much more willing to talk to each other on the street.
Yeah,
too,
there's
because
probably some religion. There's probably some. It's just a different ass religion.
Yeah, maybe. I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, there's like Taoism and Confucianism and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that's really old. And
that's
definitely Chinese.
Old time religion. I love that stuff. That stuff gets me going. I love.
And they have all the right food there, right? Like I mean,
Well,
they
make
have,
everything taste good.
Well, no, here's what I'm saying.
Bumblebees.
The food is great.
Yeah,
anything.
But do they even have food that you would have got at home that you like can eat as a comfort food?
Do they have pasteurized cheese
There's
product?
some places. There's like a pizza place that we can get that's pretty good.
And the pizza's good?
You know, yeah, it's pretty good. There's a whole lot of like expats that live here and start up businesses. So there's like pizza and tacos and shit like that.
And it's like Pizza Hut is there. Like you have all a lot of the American companies too, right?
Yeah, there's tons of McDonald's and like KFC and shit like that.
But do you get like the good McDonald's where they make like a pizza with like chicken wings in the crust or something? Like some of the shit that we see.
They do weird shit.
You gotta go to you gotta go to Japan to get the fancy McDonald's.
Yeah, when they did the global McDonald's in Chicago, it was the biggest letdown because it was just like poutine fries from Canada and like bacon cheeseburger from Australia, and it was like, no, you know what we want? We want like fucking jalapeno popper crust pizza. That's what we want from fucking McDonald's. Global.
And so the last question, I know this is all such shallow questions or whatever.
Sorry for the Orientalism too, anybody that's listening.
Yeah, I'm. What I'm trying to say is like, what do you do on TV? Like, do
How's
you
the
watch
TV?
TV? What's the TV like?
How's the TV?
I don't even watch TV here.
Oh, that sounds.
We stream stuff over the internet.
Okay.
So just stuff
We
from
don't know
home.
enough to understand any of it.
Okay. So you're just doing Netflix and Disney Plus and shit from the States?
Yeah,
They got
you
great
gotta get like
movies there.
VPNs and things like that. You break the law.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
The
So
government
here,
tried to ban me from the dark web.
I want to do this before we before we hang up and just let you know this because this is some information for you also, okay? That you probably don't know that I'm going to give you. These are the top 10 menu items from China, McDonald's in China.
Okay, yes,
All right?
that's what I want to know.
All right.
Number 10, pineapple pie.
Oh, that sounds. I mean, citrus.
Oh, they're not good.
Really?
It's a weird pie.
They're like too sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're too sweet.
Oh, that's a challenge for me. I can go with too sweet, and I love citrus to death.
So the next one is taro pie. Taro.
Oh yeah, that sounds
pie.
good too. That shit's sweet as fuck. I've had some candy for sure.
Okay, so taro might be good. It's purple.
Is it taro?
Sichuan double
I haven't
chicken
eaten any of
burger.
that.
The Sichuan double chicken burger.
Okay.
Looks totally different. It's chicken
That's probably real spicy.
It's 2 chicken patties, lettuce, and Szechuan sauce on 2 fluffy brioche buns. And so
Yeah,
brioche
real
too.
Szechuan sauce. It'll be real spicy.
Yeah, the McDonald's Szechuan sauce.
Yeah,
The-
see, I would. You know what? I could give up weed for hot food all the time. Like I'm tired
Sure.
of this hot food. I'm tired of this like bland food.
Oh
that
man,
I'm
they
getting.
love spicy shit here.
That motherfucking chili oil stuff that just sits on your lips
Yeah.
and just punishes you more and more as you continue to eat. Like, fuck.
I have like 4 or 5 jars of various spicy oils and shit in the fridge right now.
Yeah. The next thing on here is congee. And it is...
That's like...
What is it? Let's see if you got it. What
it's
I
like
got.
Rice gruel.
Yeah, composed of disintegrated rice that has been boiled with lots of water to create a porridge-style mixture. It can be eaten with a number of different add-ons such as eggs, meat, or plant-based proteins
Love
like
it.
tofu.
I love it.
That's a morning breakfast.
Yeah, not for me.
Yeah, I like any sort of rice, anything. Like, make it mochi. I know that's Japan. I'm not trying to combine them. But, like, any sort of combination, or any sort of way you can renew the rice experience. Rice is my favorite. Rice over bread, over potatoes, like over all the starches and everything. Rice is like, I would do that every day. I would rather do that every day than this bread shit that we're stuck on.
Red bean boba tea is number 6.
Sounds great.
I don't think it sounds good at all.
I love red bean. I
don't want to drink a thing with a glob of something in the bottom.
Oh, I love boba. There's a place in town that has the boba. My family hates it, so like that's my secret treat. In the middle of the day, if I need to pick me up, I go get a boba to myself. It's one of my simple
boba
pleasures.
Is absolutely everywhere. It's like
it's everywhere here now too.
But red bean too is like I really love that. I really wish we could develop those flavors. There's so many like old time flavors that we have. Like all of our shit is Doritos and Oreos, and like there's nothing that like there's no taking a red bean and making it a fucking dessert. You know.
Yeah. The number 5 is spicy McWings.
Okay, yeah, that would be a hit anywhere.
Yeah, no, it was actually it wasn't. They tried it here and it wasn't a hit here, but it was a hit in China.
Okay.
So number 4 is Crisp Cut fries. So they do waffle fries.
Yeah, that's great. That's a good idea.
But
what it like?
I haven't seen any of that at McDonald's. But I got some from Pizza Hut the other day, and they were shit.
Dude, McDonald's fries laid like crisscross pattern. If you got to eat one of those, that would be just fantastic. 16 fries.
I'm
like
to look for that.
I'm gonna start weaving my McDonald's fries together now to make like a little loom.
Jesus!
Of fucking
the next
tree.
the next one's just really crazy combos, and there are some crazy ones that are like 4 cheeseburgers, an order of a McWings, and 2 orders of large fries.
Oh, that's like the
with all the dipping sauce. I guess it's for like a date where you
got
eat
it.
2
Like
cheese.
That's great.
Yeah, it's a lot.
We have that too.
2 is the Japanese beef bowl.
Okay.
I don't know why it's in China. And 1 is the German sausage double beef burger. So what it is it's 2 patties with 2 bratwursts on it with mustard.
Oh man, I remember seeing this on the menu. I've never got any though.
They like that kill shit. They're like us.
Crazy.
What you learn is that humans are like us. They want a KFC double down. At the end of the day, that's all they are looking for.
We're all the same. All over the world, we're exactly the same.
We're all the same disgusting human being.
Do you see stuff that reminds you of home living there?
Yeah, like there's tons of brands and shit. They love malls. Like there's shopping malls everywhere, so you can go and see just anything that you'd see in America, pretty much.
Yeah, that's the thing about this show is people act like, America is like this uniquely bad place. But like across the world, there's all kinds of different countries that are just as bad as us. You know? They're doing the same awful consumerism cycles, you know?
Yeah. Well, thanks for calling and giving us a little taste of Shanghai life. For an American. Which is like what I have to hear because of who I am. I'm like, I feel I would be so nervous to go there. You know? Yeah, I'm nervous.
That's what everybody has said. We've had lots of people visit, and they're always nervous to get here. And then by the time they leave, they love it. They think it's so cool and fun and want to come back.
I guess maybe, I don't know what my opinion is, but like whenever I meet somebody that isn't from America, like I give them so much leeway. Like I'm so willing to help somebody that is like lost and doesn't know where they're at, you know, that is not from here. So I just imagine being over there that like you get all kinds of extra, right? Like people are like giving you the benefit of the doubt way more than like a regular fucking person that lives there. Like they're going to help you out. They think you're like silly, you know, like it's you are.
Yeah, you get some leeway for not knowing enough like Mandarin or looking super lost.
Right. Absolutely. And like, I mean, you know, there's ugly haterade and everywhere you go. But for me, like, if someone doesn't know where they're at, like, I usually have the time of day to be like, oh yeah, let me get you in the right direction, or let me help you buy this fucking thing, let me help you navigate this fucking situation, the best I can.
Yeah. Thanks for calling though. That was really cool. We don't like I like to try to get to get it out there that like we're not that much different from people in other countries, because maybe to our listeners, of course our listeners probably, have that in their mind. But like, before I started to think about other parts of the world and stuff, before I started to think about other parts of the world and stuff, I just assumed everybody was the same everywhere.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
It's the same shaved ape people.
No, we have.
Well, thank you for calling. Like, how did you call, actually? Just because there's a lot of other overseas people. What did you use?
I am using a VPN and then calling through Google Voice.
Okay.
All right.
That's what I needed to know. Not until Joey from Japan had we had somebody so far, but then, you called all the way from China.
Yeah, this is great. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, have a good night.
No problem.
Oh, we didn't ask what time it was.
Oh, yeah. Japan, it was 1, he said, in the afternoon. Yeah.
We'll just assume it's 1. They're close, right? Are they close to each other?
No, not that close.
Oh, okay.
They're a few hours away.
I don't know how the world's laid out.
It's probably, I don't know how time zones work.
Yeah.
I mean, they're a fabrication that's applied to our world so that business can happen, right? So that fiat currency can be created, man. Let's see who's on the phones next. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to?
Hey, this is Dylan from Des Moines.
What's up, Dylan?
Hey, Dylan, how's it going?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
We're pretty happy. We have like quite a lot in the queue, so we have to do as speedy round as possible, though.
Okay, so in the spirit of Teen Fight Radio, I want to talk about my first job when I was a teen, working at a watch store at a kiosk in the mall.
Okay.
I had.
Go ahead.
What were you gonna say?
No, I wasn't gonna say anything. Go ahead.
So I worked for a guy who was called Buddy, and he was an extremely sketchy character who had like 5 children from 4 different people, but claimed he was infertile. I had a coworker who was named either Isaac or Isaiah, but he got really mad at me when I used one of those. I couldn't tell which was right, and he got drunk on the job a lot.
Okay. And you're a teen. How old were you? 15? 16?
14, 15.
Ooh,
there, yeah.
Okay. You started early, so you're dealing with a drunk guy at 14.
Well, he wasn't like openly drunk, but like he went out to his car on his break and he came back with a Coke like glass that was obviously smelled strongly of rum.
Okay.
So maybe not drunk.
But
like,
I mean, even he was getting drunk. Well, like, what's the point in drinking that if you're not trying to get drunk?
Yeah, and if you can't wait until afterwards, I mean, you're drunk.
Yeah, that's a very drunk person, I think.
He was kind of cool though. Like one time, I totally like fucked up this guy's watch because I didn't know what I was doing, but he had my back real good, and he was just like, and this guy was like, "Oh, I'm gonna sue you. This is like a $200 watch." And this guy and Isaac is like, "No, it's not. Fuck off."
Yeah, so he was great. He was belligerent drunk. He would help you out. He would. Yeah, I mean that's good.
I'm going to sue you.
Oh shit! He was
like, no, you're not
dodging a warrant. He was also dodging a warrant in Texas that he said he was going to go back for, but he did not have a timeline on that.
I'm gonna go back. It's definitely gonna happen. I am going to go back. I'm gonna face the music in freaking Texas. Not now.
I remember being 15. I worked at Fazoli's because they would hire 15-year-olds. It's like an Italian fast food restaurant place. And one of the older people came into the job, like real messed up, and they threw up all over their shirt because they were like hungover or something, and they just like threw it away and got a different shirt off the rack. And I was just like, is this what being a grown-up is like? Does this happen all the time? Is this quicksand? Is this something that I need to get used to?
You do get a fucking such a weird look at adults when you get a job. I think like,
oh, they're pathetic. We're pathetic assholes. We're kids just like them, but we're trying to pretend we're not.
Yeah, I get this thing with Gwen, like, where it's like, I do not want her to work at a job because, number one, I don't think she's ever gonna have to like work a job like that. I think I'm trying to like make sure she like follows whatever her thing is.
Okay.
Whatever her dream becomes, I want to like facilitate her just following that rather than trying to fit into a job or whatever.
You want a trust fund kid?
No. I don't. I want her to do, I mean, she ain't getting her college paid for. She's going to take out loans just like the rest of us, but yeah. I want a kid that like follows her thing and comes out on the other end and does her thing. It's not a trust fund kid. She grew up broke as shit.
If you want to pay for her life, though, like
I'm not going to pay for her life.
So then you don't like. You just want her. You just want to kick her out to the wolves like everybody else.
No, I don't want.
You just want her to be okay by that.
I will never kick her out of my house. Like she's
Sure.
gonna live with me until she's 100. I don't
Sure.
give a fucking rat's
Okay.
ass. You know, I love having her around. So like. I don't know, man. I like I don't want her to have to go to like McDonald's or fucking, you know, some
You're talking
restaurant
about
and
teenage
get like
money.
sexually harassed. Yeah, that kind of thing. You know, once she turns 18, I'm not going to stop her from making decisions, especially decisions that affect her life. If she wants to go to college, if she wants to wait 2 years, if she wants to go get a job before and just go to college after, if she wants to like follow some kind of a writing career or something like that, like I just want whatever's possible for her to do. And like I just like, it scares me to think about my daughter being in the same kind of work environments I was in when I was a teenager, because I was a dude. You know, it's like different. I've talked to so many I've talked to so many women who have talked about that, like where it's like it was really hard for me to work as a teenager because, you know, I don't know what I can do or what power I have in any situation because I'm just learning the workforce and I'm here and I didn't know what I was doing. And the managers are like generally creeps to teenage girls.
Yeah.
You know, I've heard stories from my wife, from my sister, from so many
They can't
women.
help
We
it.
could take 100 calls on this show for that.
No,
you
they
know?
bring it. Yeah, they bring up the sexual shit all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I've been witness to it as well. And so I am back on your side now. I do think that like, you know, childhood should belong to children and then they can figure it out. But there's no reason to have them hanging out with like 20, 30, 40-year-old people that are drunk and fucked up at their job because they're dealing with real life when this person is just trying to go to high school and have enough to go to the movies on the weekend.
Right, yes, that's the thing. When you're a teenager and you're at a job, you're like exposed to like the ugliest side of adulthood. And like it probably even messes with your fucking brain to see that. Like it probably sets you up for adulthood being like that. You know, like where you're like, how many people just saw their manager at their first job and like kind of emulated them for the rest of their lives? Or like a football coach or something like that, you know?
Yeah, or just figured out to squeeze hands real hard.
How did you end up getting out of that job?
Honestly, I just was like, hey, I'm going to work for this summer camp, so I'm not going to be there. And goodbye, I guess.
Okay, so it wasn't a bad ending.
And that was it.
Can I also, just one more question before because we got to get to the next call, but like, was the boss, how small business tyrant was the boss?
Honestly, the boss was pretty chill, but if I could just shove in one more story real quick.
Yeah.
A girl hit on me whose ex-boyfriend was apparently a member of a like white supremacist gang in the area. And he had apparently broken someone's kneecaps who she had previously like tried to date, but she thought that I was a good prospect.
Okay. How nervous? Was she somebody you would be interested in?
Not given the circumstances. Considering we were discussing it at at work, but
And then some guy would roll in and break your legs also. It seems like I would have been like, you know.
yeah, not my scene. Exactly.
No, exactly. I mean, I might have risked getting my legs broken to have a girlfriend at a time in my life. But yeah, I get where you're coming from. Well, thanks for calling in. That's cool. I mean, you didn't have to deal with, at least in the end, you didn't have to deal with the small business tyrant when you were 14, 15 years old.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I gotta admit, but he was a chill guy. Thanks,
Yeah.
guys.
Thanks, man. Do you think that, like, that might be actually the most harmful thing, as if you're fucking 15 and you get stuck working for a small business tyrant? Seems like, oof. Because that's hard for adults to handle.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you get that job unless it's familiar circumstances. Like, if you're under 18, there's so many ridiculous things that are applied to it that, like, when I was trying to get hired, the only people that could do it were, like, big corporations. So, I don't know. I don't know about small business tyrants under 18.
Sometimes they work them under the table, though, under 18. And just
Not at, like,
so many...
not at the grocery store or, like, fast food chains, they don't.
True. You're right. Hey, you know, when I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
But, you know, I mean, you know, there is plenty of room for that.
Yeah.
All right, let's see who's on the line. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to? Oh, I didn't press the button right. Thanks for calling.
I would simply press the button right.
How's it going?
This is Austin from San Diego.
Austin from San Diego. How's it going? Thanks for calling in.
Thank you. It's going pretty good. I just had a story. I'll try to keep it quick. Some quick background on me. I've been into politics since like the 7th grade. It's been kind of my passion. And but I used to be kind of the typical dipshit bow tie conservative. So I used to go to a lot of like Republican fundraisers and events. And I live in Duncan Hunter's district, who is the congressman that's resigning for misusing his campaign funds. And I went to one of his fundraisers one time. It was at his dad's house. His dad was the former congressman, and he ran for president in 2008. And it was just a weird event. Hunter himself didn't show up until like 2 hours into the event, and then spent about like half the time outside with his advisors vaping, because he's known as the vaping congressman.
Nice.
And then
I mean, you got to
there
go
was,
where
like,
he's at, right? The people come to him. He's not going to go to them.
Yeah, exactly. There was also just this one point where, you know, he was his dad was kind of just joking around, saying that his son, who was about like 12 at the time, was going to be like the next congressman from the district. And I just thought that was funny. Like, he thought it was like some sort of like feudal Hamlet that he would hand off to his grandson at a certain point. So yeah, it was just kind of a weird event, and looking back on it, I wonder how many of those funds were used for his own personal expenses. But
yeah, I mean, you know, there's lots of moments like that, you know, you have, and then later, once you see what was actually going on, you're like, oh no, that was like all going to overhead, and that was basically going to them, or that was like something to put on their resume, you know?
yeah, exactly. And yeah, at the time I was offended by that thing about his son being the next congressman, because I was an ambitious conservative and thought that would be me at some point. But,
like no, this is we all have a fair shot at this thing. This isn't a land. This isn't about landed gentry. Not here in the U.S. of A.
There is no aristocracy here in the United States. You gotta earn your way everywhere.
There's so much stuff I look back on at that point in my life, and I'm just so embarrassed by it. But I'm kind of glad that I've gotten out of that now. And
the contrast
I'm on the right track.
The contrast is wonderful. I mean, the social media updates where they're like, this is what you posted 9 years ago, and you're just like, man, I really have come a long way. I'm so happy. I'm so glad that I'm not doing that still, you know?
I was like the guy who showed up to high school like wearing suits for no reason and carrying a briefcase.
Briefcase guy.
So-
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That was me. There was one point at the 2010 midterm elections, I came to school with my shirt that said "Friends don't let friends vote Republicans," and I had a bunch of like Republican candidates bumper stickers all over the shirt.
Wow. Wow. How did that go over?
I mean, everyone just kind of knew, like, oh, Austin's that conservative guy, you know, like he's I was always like,
You were just like, you showed
Yeah,
up.
sure.
You
Were you
showed
into
up.
cool shit though too? Were you into like metal or like did you like pop culture or were you one of those like real like Republican kids that like are just into Republican shit?
Yeah, that was basically me. I was just into Republican shit. Basically, like, my political idol at the time, the guy who got me into politics, was Glenn Beck.
Oh,
So,
buddy, you know, that's
yeah,
he had me
his
too.
book, his book "Arguing with Idiots" was the first like political book that I ever got and
That's-
was like super into.
That's wonderful.
He got me on the radio because like there was a period before Opie and Anthony were back on the air. I worked at the cable company for 2 years before Opie and Anthony made it back to air, and Howard was over at like 10 or 11, and I would switch over to Glenn Beck after it, and then also listen to Rush Limbaugh. And like when I was listening to those shows, I thought I was listening to. I knew I was listening to politics shows, but I thought that politics just meant that like anytime they talk about presidents and shit. So when I was hearing these guys talk, I kind of felt like they were doing the news. You know, is what I was thinking. I thought like Glenn Beck was the news, and everything he said made sense to me because it was all in his world.
Yeah, but you know, caller, like the thing about it though is it is kind of a lifestyle, and so what I'm wondering or what I'm seeing right now is like at a very early age, you thought that there was a logical way to think about things, and that there was a right way to do stuff, and that people would just follow the conservative path, and things would go all together, all hunky dory. So like, what fell apart for you? Like, what was your moment that like changed shit, or like spun you off in the other direction?
Yeah, so it was kind of two things. The first thing was, I was kind of just starting to waver in general when I went to college, and it wasn't like any liberal professors or anything like that. But
You weren't
it was
being,
just,
you didn't have any like God isn't real professors.
No, no. But it was just like, I kind of came from like a poor family, and it's kind of easy to be a libertarian if you're rich or if you're like just at home and don't really have to deal with the capitalistic like hell world that we live in. So just kind of being exposed to the normal world was like started to kind of move me away from that. And then the big thing was actually Ferguson, which kind of sounds rich considering I'm a white guy, but I was just brainwashed with that government is bad, government's bad. So when that happened and the government was out in the street like tear gassing and beating people and arresting people, I was like, okay, this is what they've been talking about. But when that happened, there was no Republicans or no conservatives that said anything about it. So that was kind of like my moment where I was like, okay, they don't actually really care about this stuff.
No,
so
no,
that was kind of my
yeah.
That's incredible. Actually, that you're sort of in the same place. I mean, that's sort of what happened to me in the end. Was just like it felt like, God damn it, man! I work and work and work, and I can't get ahead. And it seems like everything's tilted against me. And the Republicans have had like the House and Senate for so long. And then what happened was Obama won. And then in 2010, he had like this big majority. And it was just like, none of these fucking people are doing anything, And then I became like, but Ferguson would have been. I was actually having a conversation the other day about, so there were some old tweets by somebody who was like, said some bad shit during Ferguson, right? And I was like, I have but they're like different now, right? They seem to have turned a different way. And I said, you know, I have a soft spot for people who were previously conservative, who sort of over time started to learn, you know, not learn a little bit of, like, I hate the word tolerance, but stuff like that. And like, I was like, I may have made a negative post against, you know, a Trayvon Martin or a Mike Brown at a time in my life. I was that type of person that would have done that. I was pretty conservative. I was pretty like law and order and shit like that. But then I like remembered I hated cops my whole life. Like I wasn't like law and order ever. I wasn't like, oh, you know, the police need to be protected and stuff. So that might have actually, I was thinking if nothing else radicalized me, that actually, those things might have actually radicalized me because I hated the cops. Like, you know, more than I was like kind of benign, not benign, but like kind of a racist that didn't consider himself racist sort of thing.
Well, and I mean, you really struck a nerve with me where you said like you took on conservatism as like a shield against like your poverty, where it's like, because I felt the same way. Like I came up in circumstances where at a very young age I understood that like there wasn't a promising future for me. And so conservatism was something that my family was into, but also something I could adopt as like, I'm going to make the right decisions because I know the way to do it. You know, like I have a good head on my shoulders and I'm going to do these things. But, you know, as you grow older and you grow up in the world and you're like, wow, everybody else like came up under the same circumstances. There was no way that we could have ever made the right we never had the chance to make the right decision.
Right.
For the most of us, we never had the opportunity. We never had these chances. Our parents didn't. Nobody involved in our families did. Like we were never set to have the opportunities.
Right. And it's like, how was I supposed to formulate the correct opinions when I had never heard them in my life? Like, I just never heard this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I never thought about it. I never heard it. I never heard it in a way that made sense. And I was raised
But like conservative
in a place.
yeah, I mean, it offers the answers though.
Yeah, I was in a place also where like everybody had sort of not ironic distance, but they kind of distanced themselves from thinking about some of these issues. Like my parents are kind of like that, where it's just like, I don't want to hear about the bad stuff. I just want to watch like a Lord of the Rings movie or whatever. So like when I started to engage with politics and like actually pay attention to that stuff, it was kind of like I had no guidance at any time in my life, and it was just like, well, I'll listen to this radio show, get the facts. And the funniest thing is about, I think maybe the big turning point for me was when I read Rush Limbaugh is a Big Fat Idiot by Al Franken, and The Republican Noise Machine by, of all people, David Brock. I read those two books and I was like, I think I was getting fooled, you know, and then that kind of made me more liberal. And also, like, I think in my life, I always believed that we should take care of every person. So I think that that was just like a core belief of mine that I didn't understand how to get to.
Yeah.
That kind of just reminds me of like Matt Christman from Chapo, I think one time said like, pretty much all of the libertarians, you either at one point like realize that you actually do care about like freedom and people and you become a leftist, or you like go down the like fascist road.
Yeah.
So I think that was just kind of me, and thankfully I'm on the leftist road now, so I'm glad about that.
And yeah, man, like even when it comes, you know, and even when it comes down to like the Ferguson Michael Brown shooting, it's like it is somebody that stole a box of cigars, like, is their life worth losing, you know? And we're still reliving that over and over with that UPS shootout in Miami, where it's like, if somebody steals a bunch of Christmas gifts on a UPS truck, is that, you know, that is worth less than somebody's life. Like, that's something that can be written off on paperwork, you know? They're still bargaining these same situations, and like, yeah, I think that there's just like, you either get snapped out of it, or you just have to double down on like the like flow chart. You have to double down on like the system and just the way things are, and you know, just give it up to them, to like authority.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for calling in. I appreciate it. And we got to get these other calls going. There's a few people. We got some jump-ins maybe.
If there's jump-ins, we may not get to you because we have about 25 minutes left. Also,
All right, that might be enough.
because we started kind of late, so we'll go to 12:25. 12:25. So we're stopping at 12:25. Don't everybody hang up at the same time, but we should be able to get a decent amount of you if we keep it rolling.
Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to?
What's up? I forgot what Terry and Lonnie are, so I'm gonna go with the Donnie.
Okay. Donnie's are very close with Terry's and Lonnie's.
Hey,
so.
my uncle.
Ronnie's.
When I was my dad.
I got an Uncle Donnie too.
Yeah, one of my dad's brothers got kicked out of town, and they ended up living in California for a little while. And my uncle Donnie stayed out there, and he ran like a rare produce company that sold like weird food and shit. And he had a whole empire going out there. So Donnie is not a bad person to be in the Street Fight universe for me.
Right.
That's a successful Lonnie as a Donnie.
Cool. So I've got a couple different things to share, but I know it's quick. So I was gonna say, like, you're at work and people just keep you like, hey, bump it, and it gets kind of tiring after a while. I thought of something to do, like when somebody tries to bump you, you just open your hand and you just kind of palm their whole fist.
Just like consume
They
it.
get all freaked out.
Vor it.
They won't bump it anymore.
Fist bumps just seem fucking weird. They're like a sports thing, dude.
I love them.
I don't like them.
I think they're cheap highs. Like, I mean, honestly, like, you have to find something to keep going. Like, minute by minute, the day fucking sucks. So, like, a little skin in the game, a little bit of, like, fist bumping doesn't bother me. It can be over the top, though.
I mean, like,
Some people abuse it.
They do abuse it.
Yeah. It's just like fist bump. I like high fives more than fist bump.
Really?
I'm big on high fives, dude. I love them. Me and my daughter do the high five where you do one up with a five and then come down and hit it lower. Like it's a boom, boom.
Yeah.
Like, and that's a tight, like that's my favorite kind of
Yeah.
thing. If more people did that, but we had to practice it for a long time
Yeah, that's
to
a,
get
that's
it down. So,
hand communication. That's the subject of Street Fight tonight.
Well,
hey, can we come up with a memes mobile instead of Playmobil? We'll have our own.
Oh, new ones that are even better.
You know, also bosses will. I had a boss, the Red Bull boss that I had. There was a guy that was brought in to be the boss, and he decided that like the Red Bull spokespeople could come in at 8:30 in the morning and hand them out to everybody out of fucking backpacks, and they drove up with their little
That's fucked
goddamn
up.
car. But like that dude would always hit you with the fist bump. Great job today. Da da da. Double up.
Oh,
hit
yeah.
me. Blow me up. Like he was like really into. He was just so bro culture about it, and it was the worst.
You show
fucking
fucking Oakley's at 8:30 in the morning.
Yeah, just can't get enough. Just vibing, you know. Just I love making money, man. Love being successful. You know, love doing sales on the phone. That's why I dap you up all the time. We're dogs. We're homies.
Yeah, the stuff at work, the high fives and dapping at work, I was always just like, whatever, man. Like, oh, yeah, cool. Like, you're making me have this interaction. This isn't something I'm proud of.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hey, if you guys make it to Japan, you should do Mario Kart. Have you guys seen that people do Mario Kart on the streets there?
I have seen some of that. We had actually the touring Mario Kart came to Columbus, actually.
What?
Yeah, there's a touring like
Yeah.
act, some sort of carnies got together. You take a bus ride out of the capital here to like some some go-kart place that they rented, and they give you like hats and shit and different colored carts, and you get to race. You know, honestly, me and my wife have talked about going to Japan. The only reason we would go to Japan is for that Pikachu Day, where they have like hundreds of Pikachus like run through the streets, and they had Eevees out there too. Like that's the only that's the number one thing on my list. That's if I was going to try to like hammer down some Japan tour dates, it would be around whenever that Pikachu shit happens.
Cool. Awesome.
The Pikachu March.
So I'll let you guys go real quick though. So I saw you guys in Portland, and it was really awesome to see you guys.
Yeah, I'm sorry about all the shit I
part of,
talked about, Joe.
What happened?
I talked shit on you, huh?
The shit I talked about Portland.
I didn't. I love
Oh,
Portland.
There's a couple different sides of Portland.
Yeah,
It's a
we
great
guys
place.
got to find a venue there at some point.
It's a great
that's like
place.
not either weird or weird.
Yeah.
Like a venue that maybe doesn't make us pay for our drinks.
They made you pay for your drink?
Well, the LaCroix and stuff, yeah. Well, but I'll be honest, a listener bought me mine, so it's not a big deal. I just was like, I kind of feel like really unwelcome here.
It was a weird spot.
Yeah.
It was fun.
But what I was gonna say is I'm part of an art co-op. We're kind of building up our warehouse or space now, and it's aimed to be like at a price, like a very low priced place. It's called True North Studios, and so there's a website, and myself and another friend, we've been kind of like working on construction, building like educational rooms, so that different like instructors can come in, and I do like a suggested donation, and then for people to learn anything from like needle felting to printmaking to like wood shop, or just try to kind of give the community like a very cheap access to some education and some art.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's great. Is there any like way people can help with that?
There was a Kickstarter that's already gone. We're in phase 1 right now. Actually, we just finished putting up the walls and mud in the walls for the education room. We had an open house this past Friday. First Friday of every month, there's open vendor spaces. So you just gotta email booking at truenorth.org or truenorthstudios.org. I'm a bad salesman, but it's so if you make art, you do whatever you want to talk, just email that address, and it's free to vend. So it really helps people, because I know a lot of the craft fairs and a lot of things like that, they charge a shitload of money.
No,
and,
they do.
The outcome's not always great.
Yeah. I don't think I can't. I'm not gonna say that. I just sometimes I go to those craft things and I'm like, man, if they paid money to be here, like sometimes it looks like they don't sell anything, But I guess it's like
free market, baby.
Or it's a bunch of friends buying shit from friends.
Oh yeah, that's
Like,
probably
I'm
true
passing
too.
the same $5 back and forth.
That's like stand up. Like our first few years of fucking Street Fight, when we would do live shows in Columbus and we would have to depend on every single person in our family showing up. We would be like, if y'all don't show up, it's gonna look bad. We just need you to fill tables for now. And then now it's kind of like, we don't need y'all. I mean, we like you.
Yeah,
but
pay to get in. We're not gonna put you on a
we
list
don't
or
need
anything.
y'all. We can do this without you. We're famous. No, I'm kidding. But
So hopefully the next time you guys come through, we can find a better venue for you.
yeah, there's just not many there.
That's not true.
Oh, okay.
We can find something.
There's some there.
Something.
Yeah, we'll get started on the next one early. I'm thinking like September, October, November areas, West Coast. Hopefully with Hellfire.
We're gonna let it cool off.
Yeah,
They got a little too much of us this year.
yeah, and hopefully with Hellfire, we want to bring that there.
Yeah, that's a big ask.
It
Oh,
is.
shit.
It is. It is.
Meet the patrol bullies, man.
That's
All
our
right,
boys.
well, I'll let you guys go.
All right, thanks for calling.
Peace and hair grease.
Hair grease.
This is the old one. Sorry, I
thought it was chicken grease.
Chicken grease too. Any of them. Any of the greases.
We love
works.
greases. We love greases.
Ooh, love the Greasy Strangler too. One of my favorite movies.
Who's the Greasy Strangler?
You haven't seen that movie?
No.
Oh, it's an incredible movie. I don't know how to explain it to you. It's bizarre, and it will change your life after you see it. There's nothing like it. It's an independent thing that is like off the wall bonkers. It's like Tim and Eric. It's also a horror movie, but it's like smart and stupid and just like fucking brilliant movie.
Okay.
It's a good one.
I'm interested.
All right, let's use on the line here next. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who the fuck are we talking to tonight?
Hey, I'm Jake. I'm from Boston. First time, long time.
Oh, sweet.
Thanks for
We
showing
like Boston.
up.
We're going to be there very soon.
Yeah, we're going to ship up there soon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a great city.
Yeah,
you
it's
do.
cool. We
You
loved
know,
it there.
We know all the
actually.
stereotypes.
Yeah, we love
We
it.
love the stereotypes. We love your stereotypes.
Yeah.
They're
So
great.
so
Yeah, we
uh,
got good stereotypes.
yeah, I did see a bunch of guys yelling.
Yeah, guys
outside,
yelling,
and
you
I was
know.
like, I love this.
Nothing
place.
like it. The guys yelling in Boston, there's just nothing like it.
There's more yelling in Boston than like New York, though.
Really?
I feel like there is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, people love to yell there. So
The yelling.
what's going
the
on
yelling's
tonight?
fantastic in Boston. Nothing like it.
The yelling. We go there for the yelling. So what's going on
Quality
tonight?
yelling. Yeah, so I don't know. I'll be quick. So I'm finishing up my my physics PhD, and I just wanted to sort of rant a little bit. Well, not really rant, but I don't know. I'm pretty appalled by the way that there's sort of this fast track from physics PhDs and math PhDs and science into defense, which is, I mean, this should be nothing new to me, but it's pretty ugly. Like nearly everybody who's graduated from this program now works for Honeywell, Raytheon, or some consulting company like McKinsey or finance. It's just, these are smart people who could be, I don't know. Maybe I'm being too self-serving to my discipline to think that we're good for like all this kind of stuff. But I had like high hopes of doing interesting stuff for the world, and people are just making missiles and stuff like that.
You're right on. No, I mean
Rough.
it happens. I mean it happens with lawyers too. Like a lot of people want to get into lawyering until they find out that most of it goes into like corporate, like making sure that corporations can dump waste and shit. Like that's the highest paying jobs in lawyers. Like it's like that.
Yeah.
Scientists, all of that stuff is like. You want to do cutting edge ways to change the world we live in, but it's just going to go into like more destruction. That sucks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't. Ugh.
Anyway, I just wanted to say sort of solidarity with all the engineers and scientists out there who are working on things that they'd rather not be working on. They want to do something cool.
Yeah, that's tough. No, I mean, I believe in like the smart people that know more than me and that can like use that stuff for good. It really is atrocious the way that we've weaponized all of it.
Yeah, it just all has to go for weapons. Everything has to go weapons.
Yeah, or like to use your fucking mathematics to figure out how we can drill underneath this city.
Totally.
Well, there's this entire field of optimization where you could figure out how to distribute things sort of efficiently and well for happiness or something like that. But that entire field was just completely bought up by the airline industry and used for pricing tickets. So if you wonder why airline ticket prices sort of skitter up and down in the most inconvenient way possible, well, there's a bunch of math PhDs on the other side of that.
Yeah.
Who figured out how to do that.
Oh man, it's so sad. Like it's like what I mean. You have to like sort of create your own niche in the world, then I guess. Or are there like good jobs that you can get to do, like I don't know, something that means something to you?
Well, I think the trick is I think there's a lot of physicists and mathematicians who work on like interesting musical instruments, like electrical engineers working on synthesizers and stuff like that. Like you can do art, which is really cool, or you can stay in academia and do something, I don't know, ideally useless.
But the high level stuff, when it's applied, it's only at like that level, like the government contract level.
Well, I mean, I'm maybe being a little bit jaded and close
Of course.
right now. I'm sure there's interesting stuff out there to do, but I'm just saying it's kind of hard. And
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
There's this system in place.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I mean, like I was talking about with quicksand earlier in the show. Like when you're a kid, you dream about science, about being this way to like unlock the truth about the world to make things easier or better for everybody.
Yeah.
And then you come to understand that like nothing is optimized for that. Like things are set to like, if you can make more money for somebody above you, then like you can make more money yourself. Like that's the deal we have going here.
Sure.
So if you can figure out how to make your science make somebody like more money, then like you will make more money.
Yeah, the problem is just doing that ethically.
Yeah, no, I mean it can't be done. I mean it can't. Those premises those are not set up with our impulses. You know, they aren't set up for the reason that people want to study this stuff. Those are exterior things set up by the folks that they're at the top that want someone to funnel their money upwards.
Yeah, and it's really hard to do physics without really expensive equipment. So,
absolutely. No, I mean it's
pretty vicious.
I mean it's absolutely fascinating, but it's not money making. Like you have to figure out how can you make money off of it. You know, that's what we're coming to at this day and age is everything's being devalued, everything costs less money to make, whether it's like entertainment or like doctor's appointments. Everything's expected to cost less. And, you know, there's not a lot of money to be handed out for someone to, like, figure out cutting-edge physicist shit, you know? Unless it can be applied, unless it can be applied to an invoice that's going to add to somebody's bottom line.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll let you guys go. Thanks a bunch. I love you guys. You're
doing
great things.
We love smart people that listen to this because I could have been a physicist. Like I read all the books. I just didn't go to college for it. You know, like I read a lot of books, but I just didn't go to college. I didn't pay the money.
Yeah. I didn't read any of the books.
No,
I also...
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to drop him.
Yeah. I didn't read any of the books.
I didn't.
And I didn't learn about it in college either.
I only read like The Elegant Universe by Brian Greene. That's all I did.
I don't even know what that is.
It's like it's a book where they talk about like quantum physics, but then they relate it. He uses examples that are like the X-Files or like the Simpsons and shit like that. You know? Like,
that works.
To make it make sense. He uses pop culture references to get you to understand what like, you know.
Well, hey,
thermodynamics are.
I like it.
All right, let's see who the next caller is. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to?
Hello?
Howdy.
Hi, this is Rachel from Columbus.
What's up, Rachel? How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good. Are you coming to the variety show? The Variety show?
I sure am.
Nice. All right.
So I just called. Oh, what? Sorry.
I was just going to ask you what you were calling for, so you got it.
Yeah. Well, I originally called to bitch about my job because, well, I work retail, you know, a little bit. So it's a store that sells makeup, and we offer a service where we do like a whole face makeover. And so they can come in and get their face done for free, but they have to spend $50.
Wait.
So in the real world,
free but spend $50. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, free face for $50 of product.
Okay.
So in the real world, a working makeup artist, a freelancer, would make $50 to $100 depending on how difficult the face is. If they weren't in a retail setting. So the artists that are working at my store, including me, are of course, getting insulted by doing this work for free already. And so now our stores are moving to a platform where they're going to start paying, like getting the people to pay for these services on top of that, but they're still going to be paying us $10, $12.
Oh,
so I just wanted
that's...
to call and, yeah.
Yeah.
And we're also not allowed to take tax tips.
You can't take tips?
Nope.
Oh, that's horrendous.
I mean, especially for doing what she's doing, right? Like what they're doing, they should be able to take tips for at the very least. But I think they're even doing a specialized job,
I mean, doing a spreadsheet is like that's like a solo activity where like I can take like an hourly wage for that type of thing. But when you're doing someone's makeup, you are dealing with like that person, and that person is drawn from the general public, and it's not going to.
Exactly.
It can't be Like your batting average day to day when the general public is your customer is going to be very low. Like you're not gonna have a lot of home runs.
Well, yeah, and there's so many variables when it comes to doing someone's makeup, as far as like, is their skin dry as fuck? Are they old? Are they, I mean, not ugly, but like how are their eyes shaped? You know, like all these different things that you kind of learn through the trade. And a lot of people come into my store with a lot of experience already, and they really do kind of sell you this idea that you can work your way up and make more as you get more training, but that just has not been the experience. And I was just a little human about it today.
Yeah, that sounds like just more intention. It's like we would love to have a place where like we could have some scrappy, you know, people, you know, really hustle their way into a great, you know, amount of money here, but we also won't allow you to take tips, and you also will only make $7.50 an hour. But it sounds good. It does sound fun to be like, it does sound fun to be like, get out there and start making people's faces up, you know, like you can make it, write your own paycheck. It's like, not really,
But,
like you're keeping it
yeah.
all. Like I get the same wage every fucking day. Like nothing about
Same hour, yeah.
my enthusiasm doesn't change my paycheck. You know, like my level of dedication into getting people over here isn't going to affect whether or not, you know, I can go out a little bit extra this, you know.
Right. And so it sucks too, because it's made people used to, well, I will say, like, personally, there's a lot of really talented artists at my store that could charge $200 plus an hour, but they are working for maybe $10, $12 an hour. And the worst part is these people expect this level of service now for free, and they're about to move it over in the new year, and it's just going to fuck us over all the more when they're expecting this level of service, and they're going to start having to pay $90 an hour because they demand that their hour, you know, go over, and it used to be free. So it's just, yeah, it's going to be real fun.
Yeah, that's weird to be. I mean, you're just. I don't know. It's you are subjected to a person's like idea of what your job is that has never done it before.
Yeah.
Like it's just some person that, you know, came out of college and has a bunch of fresh ideas about how they should be doing these facials.
That's exactly
That's
it.
who made the change here. You know, it's not somebody like
Exactly.
on the ground that is like, hey, we could make a bunch of money for us and for everybody else if we did it like this. You know, that's the most, I don't know. I guess I know that you're young and you will get some experience out of this. But you know, being subjected to the whim of the bosses is just like, that is the job. I mean, it never is anything more than that. It's not doing it right. It's doing it to make them happy. It's just like falling in line with that, whatever their mood is right now. That's how you.
Oh yeah.
That's how you have gainful employment. It has nothing to do with like credibility or like quality.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to call and bitch about that for a hot sec. But I also wanted to talk about drugs, since that's kind of fun. I just took a tab of acid, so I'm going to go do that.
Yeah,
But
happy
I wanted to
journeys.
ask- well, you know, you got to take care of yourself during the season as a retail employee. But
Yeah, you need a vacation.
yeah,
That's a great vacation. It's only takes like
Taking a
8
short little,
hours.
exactly, short little vacay on my 1 day off. But yeah, I wanted to see if you guys had any suggestions for movies before I go.
Oh, a movie for acid. Now, I always say a funny movie, and I enjoyed The Good Guys, I think is very funny. Or, well, The Art of Self-Defense is a little dark. But we just watched, actually, you know what would be fun? And I just watched this last night, Ready or Not is very fun.
Ready or Not?
Yeah.
I think we've watched that, actually.
It's the hide and seek. They play hide and seek, and then they got to kill people.
Yeah.
Oh, dang. It's a
all
comedy.
that.
It's a comedy. I'm trying to think. You know,
Oh,
Quentin Tarantino movies can be fun.
You know,
Oh, what? Sorry.
you know, Brian does have his method, and I would say my method is more of the break your brain method. I am really into the type of stuff that makes you feel like really fucked up, or like reality has like gone. I'm into like the Jodorowsky stuff, like Holy Mountain or El Topo. That's my recommendations. But I also like a recent one that I really loved was The Cell with J-Lo and fucking what's his name? Vincent D'Onofrio. Yes. I like the mind fucked up movies. Like I really do. Like if I'm psychedelic and watching a movie, I want something that plays with like the concept of time or like Butterfly Effect, Brick. There's so many good movies that mess with time, space. Any of that is what really gets me going.
Also, anything that makes you put thought into solving the movie.
Sure.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, like, if there's something weird about it and you're just sitting there, like, I know when I'm on hallucinogens, if I'm sitting and watching a movie and it's, like, confusing, but there's, like, a puzzle to be solved in the movie, I'll go, like, oh, shit, I know it, and I get excited and feel real confident about myself.
Conan the Barbarian with Arnold Schwarzenegger is always a good choice. Like, from start to finish, that thing is like an epic fucking journey. I always enjoy that movie, no matter what state I'm in. So, yeah, that's a handful of things to check out. Westerns.
I was going to say, too, we watched Paprika last time because I heard a caller said that was a good one to watch. And
What is brilliant. Paprika.
I wanted to say, really enjoyed. And I also wanted to say before I forgot that the caller before that said Greasy Strangler was a good movie is, I second that as well.
I was that caller. I was talking about Greasy Strangler.
Oh, my bad. You know, I was like, but yeah, real good one. They also have this movie called A Night with Beverly Loughlin or something like that, and it's got like Aubrey Plaza and a bunch of other people, and it's made by the same guys. It's super funny. I just wanted to say that before I forgot.
What's it called?
It's called A Night. I think it's called A Night In with Beverly Loughlin or something like that.
Okay, I'll check it out.
Good one.
Yeah, thanks for calling.
And Paprika looks like
thanks for having me. Have a good rest.
Crazy ass
Paprika,
movie.
that's my get down. Like Ghost in the Shell is great. Like any of the AI stuff, like Deus Ex Machina is a good movie recently that came out. But Paprika is like it's like Dream Detectives, right? It's something. There are people that go inside of other folks' minds in that movie, which I find is like the most fun. Like if you really want to flip the world inside out, you know, you gotta really dive deeper.
Maybe I'll eat some mushrooms and watch that sometime. Because
For
I'm
sure.
looking at it, so it's interesting. We've already gone over.
We did? We're in overtime?
We're in overtime right now.
We have 4 calls left.
I mean, we can take them. I don't care. I guess
They've all been waiting for about the same amount of time.
Okay, just take them, and we'll like try to get through them by 12:45. Does that sound okay?
Yep. Hey, how's it going?
I'm hungry too.
You
Hey,
Fry Lover
good
XL.
evening. I'll try to be
Howdy.
quick. This is Terry Bloomberg, and I have a great business opportunity for any street fighters who want to earn in excess of $6,000 a month.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, so-
I saw that. If you're a field organizer for Bloomberg, you can get paid $6,000 a month to do that.
Yeah, I might do that.
You would be great at it too, Brett.
Yeah, I mean, I can
That's
get people riled
double.
up.
That's double what any other campaign is putting out. All you need are a couple of friends for references, and if you're looking to pad out your resume and don't have the proper experience, you can just go on LinkedIn and look up field organizer and copy paste, and boom, you got a resume.
Well, thanks for calling, Terry Bloomberg. We're going to consider taking that job, I think.
Sounds wonderful.
You absolutely should.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if we'd make more, though, here or there, so.
Yeah, I know. I mean, like, we'd have to just spend all of our money on rent and food.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, no thanks. All right, thanks for calling Street Fight. Who we talking to? How's it going? What's up? Hey,
This is a skeleton.
Skeleton. Somebody
I heard
fell
a
asleep.
noise.
There's lots of people that fall asleep.
Hello.
Yeah, hey.
Mom? Oh, sorry, guys.
You're
Yeah,
on.
how's it going, Ghoul?
Hey. How you guys doing?
We're doing really great. I'm a little hungry. I got to admit. I'm gonna go home and eat a bunch of food.
Yeah. That's a good move.
Go.
Made some food in the cast iron earlier. It's very good. This is Nolan. I'm calling from Jacksonville.
Okay,
Howdy.
what's up?
Not much. Do y'all mind if I plug like some political events in the area?
Go for it.
Cool. First of all, I want to thank y'all for coming down here with the Trillbillies and District Sentinel. It was a
Yeah.
great show. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, it was really
But,
fun. I think we might be back there soon.
Yeah, please. We've got at the same venue y'all went to at Rain Dogs next weekend. A DSA benefit kind of fundraiser thing. It's $8 at the door. We got a Facebook event, comedians, DJs, whole bunch of stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun if anyone's in the area. Come on out. Other than that, can I talk with y'all about political stuff going on here?
Yeah, go for it.
We're kind of dealing with, DSA and anyone who's aware, some newspapers in the area are covering it. There's a proposed sale of the community-owned utility, JEA, and the city's kind of they're trying to slide it through on people, and it's the sixth largest community-owned utility in America, the largest in Florida. And it's really like scummy. Just they're trying to sell, the people's control of water and power.
Okay. And who are they selling? It's like, so they're selling it to a private company, so you'll start now paying private company things?
Yeah. They're still they're like potential companies who are, interested in buying, and that's all like being flaunted. But the sale has to go through a public vote, pretty much definitely, and it shouldn't happen. But they're probably going to try and offer people rebates and stuff. We got a lot of community organizations trying to fight it, but just look it up if you're in the area. We've got a few newspapers. The Florida Times Union is writing some articles, exposing the kind of gross city corruption involved in the sale and stuff.
Okay.
I'm not ridiculously informed.
It's okay. You're
but,
fine. I mean, you're getting the info out there. Where can people help? Go to Rain Dogs for the thing, right?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely show up. The DSA we're talking with people who know more about, public utilities being sold. There are people on the ground here. We had a protest at City Hall the other week with a few organizations in Jacksonville kind of showed up. Getting involved, just get informed is the biggest thing, I think. And if you're here, we've got a lot of Bernie canvassing going on. And any way people can just get involved with left campaigns is fantastic and appreciated.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So that's how people can help, and please help the DSA stop this, because this seems like moving in the exact wrong direction.
Yeah, absolutely.
We want public ownership of utilities.
Yeah, let's get this next caller on the line. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to?
Hey, it's your resident socialist small business founder, Mason. I was calling because I've been meaning to for a few weeks, and so I won't hold y'all. I'll have to call again about the full story. But I went to Ohio for the first time, Cincinnati though, for the International Union Co-op Symposium.
How was that?
It was wild. Just to bounce off the last caller, the keynote speaker that opened it all up, they flew in from Mexico, and he was a key organizer in he was an electrical worker, and they had a union, the Mexican Union of Electricians, and the company they worked for went belly up, bankrupt, and they went ahead and seized all the infrastructure and are trying to run it as a co-op now.
Wow, that's amazing.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, and that's a trend that's been that really militant seizure of these of would-be former workplaces. That's been going on all over Latin America over the past ever since the Great Recession.
Yeah, that's really cool. I have heard about that happening a lot.
Yeah, and we watched while I was there the night before it opened. We watched a documentary about all these places in Argentina that had been doing it, and including a big bougie hotel that was like the hotel of billionaires now, or that before it was taken over.
That's
it's
awesome.
Amazing. And so
that stuff rules.
Before I go, I do want to ask y'all about the co-op that you are ostensibly part of, Means TV, and if they've ever, because as someone who's jumping into this whole world, and there's a lot of, you got to be very transparent with your members about the powers they do and don't have, and with the potential, provisional prospective members about what the rights to, what the annual process to becoming a member may be, all that. And as an observer and as someone who wants to be supportive of Means TV, I'm trying to find out about how they're actually running themselves, and it's not very open yet. And I know they haven't launched the platform proper, but do you know? Do you have votes? What's going on there?
I mean, for the most part, it's really just Naomi and Nick. I mean, that's the entire operation.
Because they have means of production, which is their thing, but Means TV is supposed to be like a whole co-op platform for all of y'all.
Right. Yeah. And but for now it's just them establishing ownership of, getting rights to documentaries, getting rights and getting people, getting rights for animation, getting rights for videos, whatever it may be. That's what it is right now. Once it actually launches on January 1st, though, there will be a reorganization, I believe, of what's actually happening, because it won't just be Nick and Naomi trying to get everything ready for this launch, basically.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, yeah, I'm still, keeping my hopes up for it. And also, the big idea I had is for y'all and the folks y'all have on staff, for helping make Street Fight run. Once that's up and running as a network, they could totally offer their services as a little 3-person co-op to everyone who's in the socialist media world, and if y'all need help incorporating.
Yeah, we already know all of this. Thank you for your call. We don't need any business fucking help from that. This is all planned. This is going to happen. This is going to be rolled out. We don't need people calling in giving me business advice on what's happening with that. Thank you for your call and your concerns. We've thought of all of that stuff. It's not a new thought. We are going to roll it out. We want to destroy Patreon. We absolutely want to create something that's outside of the realm of Patreon and PayPal and all of those things. And that's going to be rolled out and is not under the scrutiny of someone that calls into the fucking show. So please don't do that again.
Oh, I don't do anything with it, so I don't have any idea.
I mean, I'll chat with you about it, but I don't want you don't know what's going on. Please don't talk to me like I haven't considered that. Next call. Thanks for calling Street Fight. This is the last one tonight.
Hey guys, I called in probably about a month ago talking about, this is Josh from Aurora in Illinois, by the way. I called in about a month ago talking about how to create and maintain capital when you're starting from nothing. I just want to say, got a job at Costco, and I've been saving up, and I just want to say, I really fuck with you guys, and
thanks.
I'm very happy that you guys have been out here spreading the word, and I really needed that talk, and I really appreciate the positivity you threw in my direction.
Oh, that's the nicest thing in the world, and congratulations! I hear Costco's a good place to work.
Yeah, as a fucking anarcho-socialist, it's hard to like cap for a corporation, but like they're good to their workers, you know. Like legitimately, it's been a good experience.
Well,
I really appreciate you guys taking my call because it's the end of the show, it's overtime and everything, but yeah, I just want to say like I really appreciated that talking to you.
Yeah, I'm glad you called in.
I love what you guys do.
I mean, you know, and there's a thing that like some things like that can offer you, which is like stability, and stability is a chance to, you know, figure out what you want to do with the rest of your life. If you can know you can rely on this to be like not a harrowing situation as far as employment goes, then you can make plans for other parts of your life and try to develop and grow into, you know, what you want to do. Because so much of like employment ends up being like just getting screamed at by some dysfunctional motherfucker, you know. But you know, if you have just some stable, stable employment that works and pays the bills, and you can adjust yourself accordingly, you know, that like I'm glad you found something. That's great. Thanks for calling. I appreciate it.
Of course, man. Well,
congratulations,
and I appreciate it.
Thanks. Have a good night.
Yeah, have a good one. Thanks for listening to Street
You guys
Fight
too.
Radio. We'll be back on Wednesday. If you want to see us on the stream, we're on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube.
10:30.
10:30-ish.
It's usually 10:30, 10:45, I think.
We'll be around. We'll be taking calls next Sunday as well. We are available on most social media at Street Fight WCRS. You can find us on Twitter. He's at Murder Brian. I'm at Brett Payne. Peace.